Tom.
It's another beautiful day at Lowell Park. Hello and welcome to the broadcast. The Cotuit Kettleers entering this game 3-9-1, facing off against the class of the East Division in the Cape Cod Baseball League. The YD Red Sox, they stand at 10-2-1. Chris Albright, Brooke Kilgore, Sorka Lewis, Riley Lewis join me, Connor Shue, for another installment of Kettleers Baseball here on Cape League TV, YouTube, and Twitter. The Kettleers, like the rest of the Cape League, got an off day yesterday, but man, tough loss 2 days ago in Brewster, 3-2, Chris.
Yeah, another close game for the Kettleers. They've played a lot of one-run, two-run baseball games this season, and the seesaw has just not been tipped in their favor during those games. It was a tough loss against a Brewster team that has had some surgence, you could say, some periods of great baseball this season. And, I mean, Cotuit hung with them for the time being. It was a close ball game throughout. Just the relief pitching from Brewster really came in and shut down the Kettleers. And then this team that the Kets are facing today, YD, I mean, you call them the class of the East Division. They're the class of the Cape also. So another good matchup for Cotuit taking on another top team.
And YD coming in 10-2-1 again. They're going to have to face off against a Kettleers starter who had probably one of the best pitching outings of the summer so far in a Kettleer jersey. That's James Hayes, the rising junior right-hander out of Stetson.
Well, that was the first game that the Kettleers took on against Brewster. That was back June 24th, and boy, was that day a scorcher. 90 degrees. That's what really stands out about it, because the Kets were wearing their practice shirts, the dry fit shirts, instead of their road jerseys. And James Hayes, I mean, just unaffected by the heat. In fact, it might have made him a little bit more hot up on the mound. He went 4 2/3 innings pitched, only allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run, walked none, and struck out 7. Absolutely shoving up on the mound that day. And that's what really allowed Cotuit to jump ahead early, able to tack on a couple of those early inning runs in that matchup. And Cotuit ended up winning 6-2. So if James Hayes can continue with that solid pitching, just commanding the strike zone and limiting the walks like he did this past outing against Brewster, I mean, that's a great start for Cotuit.
Season stats for James Hayes: 6 1/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 3 earned runs, only 2 walks issued, and 8 strikeouts. So he's been doing a great job with the swing and miss stuff, and that was against Brewster, who the Kettleers played just a couple of days ago on Sunday. Again, lost 3-2, and still struggling in games where they lead to start off. They led 1-0 in the top of the first, but let one go in the bottom half, and then 2 more runs scored in the bottom of the third. And that was all the scoring that Brewster needed. The Kets scored 1 more run in the top half of the 6th, but were shut down by Hayden LeFew and Matthew Jenkins out of the bullpen. And LeFew especially, it's interesting for him. He got hit around by the Kettleers in that first game about a week ago against Brewster, but really buckled things down this time.
He came into the game. There was some shaky stuff to start for LeFew, but when he settled in, he was unhittable. In fact, Brewster that day retired the last 10 Kettleers hitters. 10 straight Kets retired to end the game. And that's what really just solidified that win. I mean, Cotuit, as much as they were trying to claw back and get another run back, the Whitecaps relief pitching was incredibly solid. But you look at some of the good takeaways from the Kets game against Brewster, a couple of players that really stood out. I mean, Dean West, who has been such an offensive surgeon at the top of the lineup card for Cotuit since joining the team. Just his second game, he had 2 hits, only 1 strikeout. When he gets on base, he dances around the base paths. He takes attention away from the hitter, which is what you want from a guy who hits near the top of the lineup card. And then Camden Johnson, who had a 3-for-4 day, had a stolen base as well, came around to score one time. I mean, he has just been on fire. He's been tearing the cover off the ball as of recent. In the past week, he leads the Kettleers in batting average, hitting around .375. So he is swinging a hot stick, looking to continue that here in this one.
Wasn't the only Kettleer with a multi-hit game. Dean West, who you talked about earlier, had 2 hits. Nolan Stevens had a pair of knocks, and Case Sanderson 2 hits as well, and he drove in that second Kettleers run. And what proved to be a bit of a game-changing play. Nolan Stevens got caught running home on that single by Case Sanderson. An unfortunate turn you can only look back on, but the Kettleers have today to try and turn things around against a tough lineup that YD possesses. So what does that look like, Chris?
The visiting Red Sox will take to the plate first. Here's how they line up today. Braden Dowd leads things off. He'll be followed by Cody Miller and Avery Ortiz. Hitting cleanup, AJ Soldra, who has just been dominant this season for YD. He has had a great offensive season. He'll be followed by Will Gasparino, Will Baker, and then the bottom third of the lineup card, Garrett Wright, Jack Bell, and Dean Carpentier. Again, that's Dowd, Miller, Ortiz, Soldra, Gasparino, Baker, Wright, Bell, Carpentier.
That's a solid order for the YD Red Sox against James Hayes, who we talked about earlier. And, you know, we've got the time. Why don't we talk about who the Kets bring to the plate today? Because it's a real different look. Got a couple newcomers.
Well, different look for sure. The Kettleers have had some new faces join the squad, coming in from some teams that have wrapped up NCAA tournament play or have been getting their bodies fine-tuned to come out on Cape. So some new faces for sure. Leading off today, Dean West, who is a newcomer to the Kettleers. Another newcomer hitting second, Luke Matthews. It'll be our first time seeing him in a Kettleers uniform this season. Ryan Farber hits third. Jack Natilli hits fourth. And then another new face hitting from the 5 spot, Caden Boenpole. Corn-fed, you could call him. 6'6", he'll be playing out in the outfield, but man, does he swing a powerful bat. He'll be hitting from the middle of the lineup. Camden Johnson bats 6th, Nolan Stevens 7th, and then we're bringing it on home, Case Sanderson, followed by Luke Lavin. Again, that's West, Matthews, Farber, Natilli, Boenpole, Johnson, Stevens, Sanderson, and Lavin.
Really excited to see Matthews and Boenpole in this one, especially Boenpole. He's a freshman All-American 2 years ago and continued to perform this past year with Missouri State. And it's been a long time coming to see him in a Kettleers lineup. As I think...
Sorry. keep going. I'm pointing.
See, for a second, I thought the national anthem was coming up, and it should be coming up here pretty soon.
We got pump faked.
Yes, we did, but the pitcher for YD, Cody New, out there his first start against the Kettleers.
Well, Cody New has been splitting time starting and from the bullpen today. This will be his 4th appearance on the season, just his 2nd start. New out of California Baptist University, a Western Athletic Conference pitcher making their way to the Cape. He's 1-1 on the season. He's sporting a 12 ERA, but that's through limited innings. So those numbers, you know, are a little bit inflated as the season starts. He's thrown 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, 8 earned runs, 7 walks to 6 strikeouts. So still trying to find command in the zone. Again, a great arm for the Lancers of CBU. But when you make the cross-country trip out on Cape and you're facing these guys who have been, you know, the best of the best for their teams, there is a bit of that learning curve. But he's looking to settle down. Lefty pitcher facing a lot of lefty bats in this Cotuit lineup. So it'll be exciting to see how New handles himself out on the mound today.
And it's interesting because we were looking at the stats earlier, and Cotuit has done a better job hitting against left-handed pitchers despite their super left-handed heavy lineup. Today they feature only 2 true right-handed bats, and then the switch hitter Ryan Farber, who's typically in that 3-hole. He is in there again today. Luke Matthews is the other right-handed stick alongside Jack Natilli, where the Kettleers will try to get things going and continue a bit of that offensive resurgence, you could say, we've seen lately.
Well, you bring up the right-handed hitters. Luke Matthews is a true righty. Farber, like you said, switch. Natilli right-handed. If Farber hits from the right side of the plate, that would be the first time all season long that Cotuit has had 3 straight right-handed hitters come to the plate, which is just something nearly unheard of at any level of college baseball. It's a very left-handed heavy lineup for Cotuit. So to have those guys bring some opposite side of the plate feel to the lineup card, definitely a big help. But you mentioned just this offensive resurgence. It hasn't just been Camden Johnson. It's really been everyone on the Kettleers. You look at that game against Brewster. You out-hit the Whitecaps, 11 hits. You had 8 hits against Bourne. And the list keeps going on. The only blemish in there was when Cotuit took on YD just a couple of days ago. But the Kettleers have really gotten themselves acclimated to hitting in the Cape League this summer. And if it continues onward, the runs should also follow.
And it's going to be tough against YD, like you said. They only scored 1 run against them. And YD possesses the best earned run average on Cape, 223 as a team, but Cody knew some struggle this season. We're about to have the national anthem here at Lowell Park, so we'll tell you a little bit more about how this game's going to go after this.
Founded in 2006 by Melissa Bourne and Alyssa Norton, Cape Harmony has become a dynamic group with a unique sound and superb quality. Cape Harmony has been featured on radio stations and on television, as well as in numerous newspapers. Now in its 18th year, Cape Harmony continues to bring their refreshing and high-quality music to audiences of all ages. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cape Harmony and the national anthem.
Thank you very much to the choir for that beautiful rendition of the national anthem. And one more thing before we get this game underway, we're going to kick it to our sideline reporter, Brooke Kilgore, for her chat with Camden Johnson after the game against Brewster for his thoughts on that contest.
Kilgore here alongside third baseman Camden Johnson following a 3-2 loss against the Brewster Whitecaps. Cam, first of all, you had a phenomenal night tonight. 2 singles, a double, and many great plays out on your third base side. Talk to me just what you saw.
I mean, struggling the past few days like we have, I just try to slow everything down, take some deep breaths, and really let the game unfold and try to play it instead of trying to play it before it even happens. And so I just really slow it down overall.
You talked to me a little bit after the Chatham win about playing with a little bit more swagger and not letting them, get you guys down. Have you seen that in this offense today?
Yeah, and I think, we only scored 2 today, so, we were just missing some time with hits. But, we had 11 hits total, and I think you're seeing us get more comfortable in the box. And we're understanding we're great hitters, too. They're not just the great pitchers. And so I think our swings overall as a club are starting to get a lot better.
What's the mindset going into the off days?
I'll just keep improving, keep pushing, and we'll get out of it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you again to Brooke and Camden Johnson for chatting after that one last night. He has been hitting the cover off the ball these past couple of games. 3 hits against Brewster, and that one, we'll see what he can do in the 6-hole today as part of this revamped Kettleers lineup. No Jaron Advincula today. He did play in the Cape Cod Baseball League versus MLB Draft League. I guess you could call it an all-star game. It's not officially that, but they played at Citi Field all the way in New York City. And Jaron Advincula, 2 for 3 with a homer, got hit by a pitch. Not too bad.
Yeah, a 3-run shot in Citi Field. How about that, Mr. Advincula? You're now able to say you've hit a home run in a Major League ballpark this season. So good stuff for Jaron. But that hit by pitch, like you mentioned, that one rung his bell a little bit. So he is not playing in the Kettleers lineup today.
So he'll be out of there, and Dean West will get a chance to do what he did so much at UCLA. He was their leadoff man in left field. But here's James Hayes out on the hill, the right-handed hurler out of Stetson. ERA just under 5 at school in 53 innings pitched. 49 strikeouts to 26 walks for the rising junior, who showed a lot of great stuff like we talked about in that previous start. Had a struggle in his first outing, but the wheels are on for James Hayes.
It's all about the start for Hayes. He was able to go 3 up, 3 down when he took on Brewster in his last start. And that really drove him forward throughout that game, you could say. He didn't get a strikeout until the end of the second inning. That's what ended the second inning for him. But then once he got that first strikeout, they came a lot more frequently. In fact, for the rest of his outing, he got at least 2 strikeouts in every inning for the remainder of his outing. So getting that good start, getting the ball rolling early is so helpful to Hayes, because when he can find the strike zone, he will find it near every time.
So the first man he'll face off against is Braden Dowd, the left-handed swinging right fielder. He's in the transfer portal right now out of USC and has struggled a little bit to start the summer. 214 average, 568 on base plus slugging, not to mention 7 strikeouts to only 3 walks and only a single extra base knock for Dowd. So hasn't really provided the top of the order abilities that he showed at USC, but he's going to get another opportunity today.
Well, Dowd does come into this game on a little bit of a slide. He's 2 for his last 16. He has scored a run, but those 2 hits, none of them were extra base hits. He's been walked twice and struck out 3 times also in those last 16 at-bats. So really trying to get back into the groove here.
970 OPS at USC this past spring, 324 average, 446 on base percentage, 524 slug. Not to mention, he walked more than he struck out, and he hit double-digit homers and doubles. What more can you ask for? First pitch hurled by Hayes at 5:02 local time. It is a warm one at Lowell Park. Not quite as hot as last time Hayes started in that 90-degree day like you mentioned earlier, Chris. But again, slight breeze, 80 degrees today. Chopper on the ground, charged by Farber, flipped to first in time. Farber's first time at second base for, I think, the past 10 games.
Well, Farber can play just about anywhere. He is a true utility man on the infield. We've seen him at third, seen him at short, now seen him at second base. And he might not be the flashiest at all those positions, but he looks comfortable, and that's what really stands out. When you can throw him in a new place game after game and he'll still look comfortable, it doesn't faze him where he's playing.
Righty-righty to Cody Miller. Strike number 1, your umpires today. J.C. Fernandez calling the balls and strikes. Joe Granha at first and Craig Anderson at third base. That's Joe Gravina, my apologies. It's quickly an 0-2 count for Hayes. Operating quickly in this first frame. Here comes the 0-2 for the 6'2" hurler. That shot high in the air out to left field. And West under it for out number 2.
We've only seen West for about, well, now this will be his third game. And one of my favorite things about West is when he tracks a ball in left field, he keeps his glove just dangling by his side. His glove is down by his left knee until last second he just lifts it up and catches the baseball. It's the definition of nonchalant out there. Such a good fielder.
He plays things cool out there, and that's part of the appeal to his game. Great ball player. First pitch swing and a miss for Avery Ortiz, the designated hitter. Kettleers didn't see him the first time they played YD.
A lot of new faces coming into this league, especially as we approach 4th of July.
Pitch outside, it's 1-1, but Ortiz in Only 5 games, he's hitting .389, 7 for 18 so far.
How about that for a good translation to the Cape?
It's not too bad. Ortiz slings the bat back over his shoulder, the Oklahoma State product. This season at school, a little up and down, 222 average in 17 games, 3 home runs. Was much more successful in his 2024 freshman season. 9 homers, 49 hits, played every day. Has shown the ability to play multiple different positions. He was all shortstop in his 15 games at Oklahoma State this year, but he's played multiple outfield spots, has played second and third in his college time as well. Swing and a miss. James Hayes, 1-2-3 to start this one off. We'll go to the Kets to bat in the bottom of the first here up next. First look at Garrett Wright was fumbling with, I think, his pitch comm on the ear.
We can go ahead and assume it's pitch comm.
I think that's what it is 90% of the time. So it's a 0-1 count to the left-handed swinging left fielder, Dean West. .320 average this year at UCLA. Cracks one on the ground towards second, playable for Baker. Fires to first in time. 1 down.
Couple of 4-3s to start the game for both squads. Just getting that weak contact. You know, you're not headhunting first batter you face. You're just trying to get a feel of A, the strike zone, B, the other team, and just get comfortable up on the mound, kicking that dirt up by the slab. So a good job for these pitchers to just get that first out.
Now he's got to face off against a first-time Kettleer. Luke Matthews, his debut for Cotuit. Rocks one into left field, chasing it down is Soldier. That one's over his head. Matthews sprinting towards second. He's going to take the turn around to third, and he dives in time A triple off the first pitch for Luke Matthews. Cotuit debut. Welcome.
Is there any better start you could, I guess a home run, but is there any better start you could have to your Cape League debut? First pitch swinging, just rips it left center field. Soldier was on the backtrack the entire time, and now Matthews is standing at third base. That's the second triple of the year for the Kettleers. So first at bat, you match the team with triples.
Easton Winfield has the other one. So a one-out base runner on third. Infield pinched in for Ryan Farber. Watching a first pitch ball. Farber committed to Auburn University out of Texas State, entering his junior year of college, and he's been a staple in the three-hole this summer. Average has fluctuated, currently sitting around 240. Regardless, he's been a defensive Swiss Army knife, has played third, short, and second so far. The 1-1 cracks it right over the middle, and that's going to score Matthews. So a trip around the base paths after Luke Matthews' first plate appearance, driven in by Ryan Farber, 1-0 Ketts.
How about a hot start for the Kettleers? You have new faces in the lineup. You have guys that are still learning everyone's name. As Luke Matthews is running through the dugout, giving high fives, he's probably only put names to faces for about half of those guys in the dugout with how quick he's been out here. So really just a good start from a Kettleers team that is dealing with a lot of moving parts right now.
One of his first days on Cape. Here's Jack Natilli. Hit the ball hard last game he played. As the runner goes, Farber, not a slide as that ball gets into the outfield. Farber on his way to third. Big trouble on the infield early for YD.
Back-to-back at-bats now where the Kettleers hitter will have a man on third base. Farber did take a bit of a stumble around second, but when he saw that ball kick into the outfield, saw his chance to take that extra base, and now the Kettleers are just taking advantage of some great opportunities presented to them.
So another one-out base runner on third for the Kettleers. This time Ryan Farber for Jack Natilli. He's shown the ability to drive the ball up the middle. Taps one hard towards third. Looking off the runner and throwing to first is Bell in time. 2 down.
Number 19, Caden Boenpole.
Another Kettleers debut. Caden Boenpole, the center fielder, standing 6'6" tall out of Missouri State.
We were talking about this pregame. We'll need to fact check ourselves. Both center fielders are 6'6" today. Is that the tallest tandem of center fielders in a Cape League game this season? I mean, if it's not, it has to be close.
I'd put a lot of money on that.
Well, when you have the size that Boenpole does, he is able to put a lot of power on the baseball. I mean, a home run machine at Missouri State.
Hit over 20 his freshman year. Boenpole's got a 2-0 count. Runner on third, 2 down. In the bottom of the first, Cotuit up 1-0. 3-0. Boenpole, this past year at Missouri State, 13 bombs, 44 runs driven in, 55 walks, and 15 doubles. On-base machine, too. 4-pitch walk to him.
And now you can see how he gets on base. He's a patient hitter in the box. He won't take swings unless he absolutely has to, you could say. He does work a full count every now and then. And you can tell when you compare his walks to strikeouts in college, he does walk an extraordinary amount. But when you have 53 walks, you have 74 strikeouts as well. So those splits are pretty inflated. He'll just sit in the box and wait for a pitch. That's what tells you when you look at those extremely high numbers.
Now here's Camden Johnson. He's on his way to Oklahoma next year. By way of Wichita State, he's hitting with runners on the corners. Cody New scuffling early here against Cotuit. Looking to get out with only 1 run allowed. Luke Matthews tripled and scored on a Ryan Farber single. Here's the pitch. Just outside, 2-0. And New has struggled so far this summer. We touched on the numbers just a bit, but a 12 earned run average in 6 innings. New settles, fires, upstairs. 15 pitches, only 6 strikes.
And it's more just about finding the zone right now. You issue a 4-pitch walk to Boenpole, and that was after you spike a wild pitch, and then that errant throw gets Farber on third. So that can stick in your head. For New right now, it's just about going pitch by pitch. You even want to simplify it from just going batter by batter. You're worried about this next pitch. Get a strike, then you start going on from there. You can't let what has already happened linger in there, because as you're starting to see, it's bleeding over into some new at-bats.
Camden Johnson will re-enter, coming off a 3-hit day against Brewster. Double and 2 singles. He possesses the doubles lead for the Kettleers with 4 of them. The 3-0, down the chute. .1-0 ball game, Cotuit up on YD. What a win this would be. It's very early. The 3-1. Curveball missed. Another walk back-to-back issued by New.
Well, the approach at the plate for the Kettleers right now seems to be just wait. Just wait for a pitch, because right now the strikes aren't really coming from New. And when the ball is put over the plate, we've seen great pieces of contact from the 2 Kettleers that have gotten hits. Matthews and Farber have both put a stamp on the baseball.
They sure have. A hard hit triple by Matthews as that's chopped towards the hole. The second baseman, Baker, misplays it and a run scores. Farber's in, 2-0 Kets on the error.
These 2 runs have really just seemed to have fallen into the lap for the Kettleers. I mean, Matthews did a lot of the heavy lifting getting that triple, but a pair of walks loads the bases, and then just an errant ground ball played in the infield. I mean, the Kettleers right now are just taking advantage. That's all it's really been.
So they're going to call that a single for Nolan Stevens, an RBI single. Nolan Stevens got in there despite the bobble from Will Baker, the second baseman.
Well, it gives Stevens the RBI now.
Big cut and a miss from Sanderson, and that's what Cody New's been looking for, some whiff. Hasn't got much of it in this first inning. Sanderson is the 8th Kettleer to bat in this frame. Bottom of the first, Kettleers looking to continue an early ambush. On third is Boenpole, on second is Johnson, on first is Stevens. Boenpole and Johnson reaching via the free pass. Stevens, an RBI single, brought home Ryan Farber. Just hit on the ground. 1-2 count for Sanderson. He's another Kettleer who's coming off a nice game. 2 hits, including an RBI single.
That was also from the 9-hole.
Came in and produced at the bottom of the order for the Kets. Swing and a miss, and Cody New gets out of it. Strands the bases loaded, but the Kettleers score 2. Talk to you again in the top half of the second here on Cape League TV.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
James Hayes retired the top 3 of the YD order in the top half of the first. Now he faces 4, 5, and 6 AJ Soldra, Will Gasparino, and Will Baker after his Kets put 2 runs on the board.
Always good to have some insurance on the mound. Now working with a lead, and you know it's only inning 2, so that's a really great gift to your starting pitcher.
Soldra steps in. I think it's safe to say he's having the best summer out of any Red Sox hitter, at least of the YD variety.
Hitting .367, on base percentage 1/124.
Not bad. Pitch was just a little bit low. Slashing .367, 424, 700.
I was about to bring that up. I mean, it helps when you're slugging 700. He leads the Red Sox in home runs.
Swinging a hot shot to first, played by Sanderson, flipping time to Hayes. 4 straight retired for the Stetson hurler.
I was up and in on Soldra. Almost just hacked at it. The pitch up in the zone and really came down hard on it. Soft grounder to Sanderson at first base.
So you get the scariest bat out of the way quick, AJ Soldra. Now it is a tall center fielder, Will Gasparino, high up in that right-handed batter's box. What an odd strike zone that is to pitch to.
I mean, it's certainly not a normal one that you'll see frequently.
Got a lot of room to work with if you're Hayes. Inside on the corner, 1-1. Hayes operating with that low 90s fastball. Couple of breaking pitches on the side. He hurls. Just a little low. Hayes continuing where he left off. 4 2/3, 7 strikeouts against Brewster last time out, and he's retired the first 4 batters he's seen here, and just like the game against Brewster, he got run support. High in the air, staying on the infield, a sky ball played by Farber, who called off the first baseman. Sanderson, 2 down.
Well, when you look at what Hayes was doing towards the end of his outing against Brewster, he did at the very end give up a double with 2 outs, and then that led Cole Carlone to come into the game to replace him. But before that double, he had retired out of the past 6 batters he faced, 5 of them via strikeouts. So he ended the day throwing strikes. He ended the day hammering the zone, and that's really been what he's working with today. I mean, he's continuing to pitch around the zone. 18 pitches, a lot of them have been strikes.
Belted foul. Hard hit ball on that first pitch by Will Baker. Sent that a mile, but outside of the foul pole. 0-1 count for Baker. Some raffle tickets dropped off to us by one of our intern coordinators, Scott Hill. Thank you, Scott.
Knows how much we talk about the 50-50 raffle up here.
We're big fans.
Big 50-50 raffle supporters up here in the Kets booth.
Will Baker, the lefty, looking for some 2-out thump. High tapper towards second. Farber, play made. 6 up, 6 down to start for James Hayes. And before we go to break, we'll go to our sideline reporter, Brooke Kilgore.
Guys, we mentioned it earlier. Of course, Hayes was pivotal in the big win for Cotuit 6-2 against Brewster just last week, but it wasn't easy for the pitcher. Coming in, he made his CCBL debut June 17th, lit up against Harwich, as our writer put it, surrendering 6 hits and 6 runs to earned while walking a pair of batters in just 1 2/3 innings. However, coming back against Brewster, he was phenomenal. 4 innings pitched in 2/3 as well, just allowing 1 run and striking out 7 batters in that 6-2 victory. He told us after the game it really just helped him slow down following that loss against Harwich. He really needed to take the time to figure out where to put his pitches, and he had a phenomenal bullpen to support him back there. Of course, he takes the mound again tonight, and we'll see how he does out there. Back to you guys.
Thank you again, Brooke. Hayes did a great job of bouncing back, and he continues to. We'll take a short intermission here on Cape League TV as the Kettleers lead the Red Sox 2-0.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they are ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
First pitch ball to Luke Lavin. After a couple games off, he's back in the Ket's order, batting 9th. Batting over .290 in limited at-bats so far this summer. He's been a nice contributor from the backstop position.
Well, it's been a rotating position. Lavin, French, Natilli all splitting reps behind the dish. We've seen French play first base when he's not catching, but Lavin seems to be the go-to guy when Hayes is pitching especially.
Maybe a personal catcher. Didn't cross paths much, at least in college. You're not gonna see too much crossover between Stanford and Stetson.
They both start with S. That's about all I've got for the same similarities between the two.
The Stanford catcher works a walk to start off this frame, and news control woes continue.
I mean, that little break between innings can help you clear your mind. Unfortunately, just still not able to find the strike zone. He's thrown 27 pitches, only 12 of them for strikes. And that's paired alongside now 3 walks on the day.
Dean West returns to the box. Comes into this game 3 for 8 at the plate through 2 games as a Kettleer. First pitch ball. And we haven't seen him flash the on-base ability like he did at UCLA, but we're only 2 games deep. A .470 on-base percentage, 49 walks as a Bruin this year.
Oh, those walks were a team high. Knows how to work a pitch count high. And now this isn't a familiar spot for him. At UCLA, he was the leadoff man for the Bruins. In fact, he only had 1 game where he didn't lead off this past season. And that includes the Bruins' postseason play as well, when they advanced far in their own conference championship, and then they went on to host a regional as well.
He's working this count up 2-1 against Cody New here in the bottom of the second. 2-0 ball game. Ketzer up. Very slight shift to the right. Second baseman Baker playing in the outfield. Left side is playing in their spots. New pitching with a base runner with no outs. West cracks it over the head of the third baseman. Another knock, the 4th hit of the day for the Kets.
And now West can join the hitting party to be the leadoff man and get into a groundout and then watch the guys after you get on base via hits and walks. He's like, okay, I need to get out there and do the same thing. And he's able to pepper the ball anywhere on the field. That one going opposite field. One of the many tools that you'll see out of a couple of these left-handed hitters on Cotuit's lineup is they can place that baseball anywhere in the outfield.
He did exactly what we'd see Jaron and Vincula typically do at the top of this order, just flare one out to the other side and get on. So there's going to be a quick mound meeting with Cody New, and I think that was in order. So far this game, he's allowed 7 base runners in 1 full inning of work.
Yeah, Cotuit's been attacking him when he throws in the zone and then laying off when he's not. And that's just leading to a lot of walks and a lot of hits. Just a couple groundouts as well. So New just needing to take a breath and get back to throwing strikes.
So New will return. His catcher and pitching coach back into their spots. Chris Vopanek was the pitching coach out there to visit.
His first season with YD.
New a peek at second and a fire. Matthews a bunt placed foul. And he endeared himself to Kets fans pretty quick, slamming a triple out to left field on the first pitch he saw as a Kettleer. So not a bad way to welcome yourself to the village. He eventually came around to score on a Ryan Farber single. New is 32 pitches deep. Here comes 33. Bunt pulled back, no movement from the runners.
Well, the Kettleers are trying to work up his pitch count quickly. Already an arm warming up in the YD bullpen out in right field. It's Michael Catalano, who already has 3 appearances this season, so you don't want to break into your bullpen early in this one.
Especially with YD and how they've handled their pitching staff this summer, it's been the best on Cape. New deals home. Bunt placed down the third baseline, foul. We touched on it for a second in the pregame, but this is one heck of a crowd. Each grandstand is full. Plenty of fans down the first and third base lines, some peppered along the outfield wall. Good scenes out here in Cotuit.
Well, it's holiday season here on Cape. Seeing a lot of Americana garb being worn already. A couple shirts with stripes and stars on them. See a Team USA baseball hat too.
The 4th is coming shortly, just later this week. We'll be on the road in Falmouth. So catch us there on Cape League TV at 5 o'clock if you're in between 4th of July festivities.
Everyone's go-to 4th plans, listening to Chris and Connor.
Swing and a miss from Luke Matthews. Second punch out for Cody New. So he gets a much-needed first out.
Oh, for New, if you're able to get out of this inning, that not only saves you an arm in the bullpen, but it can also build some confidence. Maybe allowing him to go another inning. But if you need a guy to come out and close out this second inning, you always want to be careful for some of these relievers, especially making them work multiple innings. Some of them are used to doing that with that break in between, but you don't want to have to keep going back to pitchers.
Tag is in time on the throw back to first. They got Dean West well off the bag, so now 2 down off of a sly pickoff move from Cody New.
Oh, you blink and now he's 1 out away from getting out of this inning. New doing a great job of trying to limit some chaos here in the second inning.
Farber back in now with only 1 runner on. It's Lavin on second. Rainbow Curve is outside. 2 runs on 4 hits for Cotuit. YD, none on none. Infield shaded left. Strike one. Farber hits in the majority of the Kettleers games. He went on a 2-game hitless streak a few games ago, but he got back on the saddle. Got a knock against YD. Was on the board against Brewster as well as he shoots one into the gap in left center field. Gets down a base hit. Lavin screams home. Farber chugging into second, and he's in there sliding. An RBI double for Ryan Farber makes it 3-0 Kets.
Now Farber is having an incredible start to his day. Now 2 for 2, a single and a double. I mean, that ball was absolutely tagged towards left center. With it being 2 outs, Lavin was running on contact, and he was hurling around the bases. I mean, he was running quick and able to get the Kets their 3rd run of the ball game.
Luke Lavin scores on the RBI double by Ryan Farber, his 2nd extra base hit of the summer. 2 for 2 already. Here's Jack Natilli. Had his first double last game against Brewster. Couple of loud flyouts too. Hit multiple that were just shy of the left center field wall. Farber on second. 1-0 pitch to Natilli. Scrapes it foul. Kettleers just trying to keep passing the bat down. Natilli grounded out his first time up last inning. He was one of the best hitters on a Cincinnati team that made the regional. Hit over .330 at school. The 1-1, just low. Cody New, the man on the mound. This summer is uncharacteristic for how he looked at Cal Baptist. 80 innings pitched, 98 strikeouts, just under a .350 earned run average. But it's been tough sledding for him against the admittedly tougher competition of the Cape League. You definitely get some West Coast Conference representation here, but you're not seeing LSU guys or Tennessee guys too often when you're there.
As a man who has watched a lot of WAC baseball, the Cape is another level.
Farber goes, swing and a miss. They don't even try to throw down to third, so Farber's there safely.
Again, no shade to any, you call them the power fours or the group of fours or the mid-majors. No shade to any of those, but I mean, all these guys are the best on their teams, and they get sent out here to the Cape.
They're all worthy of being here. The 3-2 inside. Jack Natilli works a walk.
I mean, for New, the walks are definitely an anomaly, you could say. I mean, we've talked about some of his numbers at CBU, and he's looked solid there, especially with the command. I mean, you're coming off a year where you have 80 innings pitched, 98 strikeouts to only 31 walks. Only 31 walks in 80 innings. I mean, that's just incredible control.
He's got 4 tonight. And all summer, he's really struggled in that department. Up to 11 free passes in 7 2/3 innings on Cape.
Compared to only 8 strikeouts as well.
So he's got 2 down. He wants to take a second. Runners on the corners. Farber on third, Natilli on first. For Caden Boenpole. A walk, his first time up in a Kettleer jersey. And just where he left off, he's watched 5 balls straight. 4-pitch walk for Boenpole the first time. We talked about that plate discipline, over 50 walks each year at Missouri State. And he rockets one on a line into center field, chasing it down and watching it fly over the fence. That's gone. Caden Boenpole goes yard for his first homer in a Kettleer uniform. Welcome to the village. "5-0 ball game. Cats up against the class of the Cape, YD.
Yeah, how about that for your first game in a Kettleers uniform for Boenpole? We knew he would be bringing a lot of power in his stick, just seeing his numbers at Missouri State. And it only took him one pitch thrown in the strike zone for him to put some pop on that ball. That was dead center, 397, and that cleared the fence by a good 3 or 4 feet. So I'm not ashamed to call that a 400-foot home run for Boenpole.
The 400-foot moonshot off the bat of Caden Boenpole makes it a 6-0 ball game. Kettleers up well in the driver's seat. This ties their season high in runs. Another batted ball towards the second baseman by Camden Johnson. He's retired, but the damage is already done. 6-0 Cats on a 3-0 three-run blast by Caden Boenpole for his first hit. 6-0 Cats going into the top half of the third.
Dream it. If you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
James Hayes returns to the slab with plenty of insurance to go around. His Kettleers are up 6-0 after Caden Boenpole blasted off with a 3-run shot out to dead central. And James Hayes himself has had a really nice day. 6 up, 6 down to start out this game. He faces off against Garrett Wright, Jack Bell, Dean Carpentier, the bottom 7 through 9 of YD's order.
YD hasn't even hit through their lineup card yet, and Cats already have a 6-run lead. I mean, that's the type of start you need if you're Cotuit. And the best way to avoid these close games, don't let them be close in the first place.
It's not looking like that early, and the last time we saw a 6-0 game was right here against Bourne last home game, and those Braves threatened to come back. They made it a 6-4 ball game, but the Cats held on with a nice performance out of the pen by Tyler Albanese and Ryan Buckler. Those two really did a job, to say the least.
Well, in that game, the Kettleers also scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings. The problem came when the Kettleers were not able to get a hit past the 3rd inning. So today, as great of a start as this is for Cotuit, you need to keep the momentum going for the entirety of this one.
Gotta stay on the gas after this if you're Cotuit. That's the message I would be yelling to my dugout if I'm Lauren Hibbs. And obviously I have 0 coaching experience, so take that with a grain of salt, but
that's not a bad statement.
Swing and a miss. He went fishing. Garrett Wright with a strikeout throwdown in time, and James Hayes is dealing.
That's only his 2nd strikeout of the ball game. I mean, he is not letting YD get contact on anything. The only ball that has left the infield was a real can of corn, you could call it, out to Dean West in left field. Everything else has just been either an infield grounder or a pop-up.
In steps Jack Bell, one of the lone Red Sox who didn't bat against the Kettleers last time. Swinging it left-handed, playing third base today. Bell this summer, .375 average in only 4 games. He's 3 for 8, not to mention 4 walks. Bell at TCU, 5 homers, 31 driven in this past year. Started his career at Texas A&M, but got limited playing time there. Only 16 at-bats. Did sport a 1,000 OPS. Hit a homer, stole 3 bags, hit a double, 8 walks to 5 strikeouts, but he opted for the portal and continued to produce at Texas Christian. Not to mention, he was a Cape League guy last summer. Went from Falmouth to now Yarmouth-Dennis. Chopped foul. Stays a 1-2 count, and James Hayes continues to pound the zone, not giving any room for these hitters.
Well, Bell is coming into this one. He's had limited playing time so far this season, but he's hitting .375.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3 on James Hayes' tally.
It's a scary sight when James Hayes is able to get those strikeouts rolling. And like we've seen in the past this season, typically in innings with strikeouts, they come in pairs. He's able to rattle off 2 back-to-back punch-outs.
He's heating up on the mound. Faces the 9-hole hitter, Dean Carpentier. Had an RBI double last game against the Kettleers. The USC first baseman watches the ball.
With that strikeout, James Hayes now leads the Kettleers in strikeouts on the season.
Had 7 last game. He's got the stuff for it. You saw that slider. Carpentier did a good job to lay off, but that's one of his best pitches. Here comes the 2-0. Shot high in the air, but not very deep. The right fielder, Stevens, is under it. A can of corn. 3 up, 3 down for the 3rd straight frame for James Hayes. Take you to the bottom half of the 3rd here on Cape League TV 6-0 Ketts.
When we see our patient, our philosophy is to not just take care of the isolated pathology or problem that they're here for. We look at the care of a patient as the whole patient, how they hold hands with a spouse or partner, how they engage with their children or grandchildren. These are important things in the equation of how we decide optimal treatment for patients, whether that's non-operative or operative intervention. Every patient gets treated as a family member or as a pro athlete in our mind. We provide concierge level of care. That's how we want it done for our own, and that's what we continue to do here in the greater Boston area.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Through 2.5 innings, Cotuit has peppered YD with runs. They're up 6-0 in one of their best offensive showings of this young season. Helped by some new blood, Luke Matthews and Caden Boenpole. Each of them really invigorating the lineup.
A triple from Matthews, a home run from Boenpole. I mean, the new guys are making their mark instantly for Cotuit. Some extra base hits. I mean, it's just been really a gift for Cotuit to have these guys come in and play getting off the plane, you could say. I mean, Dean West flew in at 1 a.m., and then the day after he's playing for Cotuit. Same types of situations for Matthews and Boenpole. These guys are getting shuttled from Boston Logan to Lowell Park and putting on these performances.
They're going to hit against Carson Marsh, the new pitcher, after Cody New was run out of the ballgame. His final line, 5 hits, 6 earned runs allowed, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 2 innings complete. Carson Marsh pitching against the bottom of the Ketts order. Nolan Stevens up right now. Takes a strike. Then it's Case Sanderson, Luke Lavin. Stevens singled in a run his first time up. Stevens features a big arm in right field and solid contact ability in his 2 seasons at Mississippi State. Now he's going to Oklahoma.
Boomer
Sooner, 2 of them back-to-back in the order. Camden Johnson before him in the 6 hole. He's going to Oklahoma next year. Swing and a miss. Really nice pitch out of the hand of Marsh.
Well, it's a righty arm now attacking this Ketts lineup, and they do hit a little bit worse against right-handed pitchers as a team hitting .212 against righties compared to .232 against lefties.
The number has been creeping up all season, though. The Kettleers really struggled in the first 5 to 10 games, and then once we got to late July, things really started to get going. Low on the corner, got him looking. First strikeout against the first batter that Marsh saw.
That's just a beautiful slide piece from Marsh. The righty is able to break it in towards the plate on the left-handed hitters, and that one started almost in the, well, it did start in the right-handed batter's box and just broke in enough to that strike zone. I mean, you're going to get guys swinging with that, or if they take, that's painting the edge.
Here comes Case Sanderson. Struck out to end the first inning. Socks one on the ground towards the first baseman. Carpentier flips in time for out number 2. Carson Marsh doing a great job of slowing down the blood flow of this Kettleers offense.
Able to retire 2 straight after coming into an inning. Your team is down 6, so the goal here is just to keep Cotuit's bats stagnant for a little bit while you let the offensive side catch up to the Kettleers. I mean, that's what Chatham, that's what Bourne did. That's what these teams have done against Cotuit to really battle back. When Cotuit has a big lead to start the game, you just hold them for a little bit and then chip away at the lead.
Lavin shoots one into center field. Coming into play and making the grab is Gasparino. 3 up, 3 down for the new arm, Carson Marsh. Turn it back over to the YD order in the top of the 4th. Up next, Ketts up 6-0.
Hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
When we see our patient, our philosophy is to not just take care of the isolated pathology or problem that they're here for. We look at the care of a patient as the whole patient, how they hold hands with a spouse or partner, how they engage with their children or grandchildren. These are important things in the equation of how we decide optimal treatment for patients, whether that's non-operative or operative intervention. Every patient gets treated as a family member or as a pro athlete in our mind. We provide concierge level of care. That's how we want it done for our own, and that's what we continue to do here in the greater Boston area.
Top half of the 4th, James Hayes facing off against the top half of the YD order. Braden Dowd, Cody Miller, Avery Ortiz all due up.
When your leadoff guy's coming up to bat in the top of the fourth, that tells you one thing, that James Hayes has gone 9 up, 9 down to start this game. He's done a great job of limiting any sort of offensive output for the Red Sox, who have come into this game, I mean, one of the best, if not the best offensive team in the Cape League, paired alongside great pitching. Cotuit has done a good job of handling both of those factors.
And we'll play a little guessing game here. How many pitches has James Hayes thrown so far in this one? Don't look at the stats.
I'm not looking at the stats. I'm going to think this one through.
We'll say coming into the innings, since he's started off with a first pitch strike.
You know, I've got to go with probably around 30. I think it's maybe a couple ticks above that. We'll say he's at 31 pitches coming into this inning.
32.
Oh!
Almost nailed it.
Should have gone. I said a couple of ticks, and I only went up one. Jeez.
Now he's at 34 with 24 strikes thrown. Pounding the zone, as they say. That's the definition. Here comes his 0-2. Just a little upstairs. 3 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts. His ERA brought all the way down to 2.89. Soft flare foul. Stays 1-2, and this is just a pleasure to see how Hayes has handled the rest of this season after his first start, where, man, he really struggled against Harwich, like we heard in the sideline hit from Brooke earlier. 6 runs allowed total, 2 earned, but he was taken out of that game in the second inning. Swing and a miss. 4th strikeout for James Hayes. He's retired 10 straight.
All 4 of those strikeouts have been swinging. When he's on a roll, he's on a roll. I mean, he's struck out 3 out of the past 4 batters he's faced. He's looking comfortable up on the mound. His pitch count is not high whatsoever. I mean, you don't go as far as you do in these summer league games as you do in college, but for Hayes to be sub 40 pitches here in the 4th inning, that's just good for the arm.
I'm not here to jinx anything, but this could be the first time we see a Kettleer pitcher pitch into the 6th inning.
Seen a couple 5-inning games.
Wow, big cut and a miss on that slider. Cody Miller wanted nothing to do with that. And Miller, a very worthy foe, was the lead bat for the East Tennessee State team that made the regional this year. Here comes the 0-2. Shot high, out of play. But Miller, 286 average, 2 bombs this summer, 4 doubles. And at school, 331 average, 18 homers, 27 stolen bags. This guy's a real ball player, man. Plays a good second base, but he swung through that one. James Hayes, 2 strikeouts to start out the inning. He's got 5 today.
And the strikes just continue to climb up for Hayes. He's not throwing balls. He doesn't need to throw balls. He's throwing down the chute. He's painting the zone, and the Whitey hitters aren't able to time up any of his pitches, it seems. This is all James Hayes' game right now. And these are some worthy bats for YD. A lot of them are up top 10 for a lot of stat categories offensively in the Cape.
Just got another swing and miss, this time from Avery Ortiz. Boy, do I wish I could see the amount of whiffs he's gotten today. He might already have 10 swings and misses against him. There's another.
I feel like it's up above 10. Every strikeout has been swinging, so that's at least 5. And he's getting some whiffs on, for the first strike or for the second strike. I wouldn't be all too, I would say 15, maybe 20.
He's getting a lot of early count swings. There's 3 straight. Striking out the side. Tip your cap to James Hayes. He is bulldozing through the YD order. Ket's up 6-0 going into the bottom of the 4th.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
Kettleers up a dominant 6-0 coming into the bottom of this fourth inning. James Hayes just retired another 3 straight batters to give it up to his bats. Coming up to start this one is the leadoff man, Dean West. Then it's Luke Matthews, Ryan Farber.
There's a lot of good right now for Cotuit. I mean, any way you want to cut it. You say, oh, you don't want to jinx anything, but I mean, calling it how it is, calling the balls and strikes. Cotuit's offense has been good. Cotuit's pitching has been good. Right now for YD, the best thing you have going for you is Carson Marsh is up on the mound. He went 3 up, 3 down this past inning. If you could get a couple more of those innings, there's ample opportunity with the bats that YD has to chip into this Cotuit lead.
Well, with the way James Hayes is pitching on the other side, it'll be quite the challenge, but time will tell. Dean West took a first pitch strike to Carson Marsh, who, as you said, is dealing. Went 3 up, 3 down in the third. Coming in for Cody New. It's a pair of strikes to start off West. Carson Marsh, college teammates with Jack Natilli, Kettleers designated hitter. Outside. Did struggle this year, Marsh, 750 earned run average. Spent most of his time out of the bullpen. Here comes his 1-2. Shot foul. Marsh, 5'10", 178.
No, that's on me. You were saying much more important stuff than I was about to say. I was about to say that Wyatt Halverson's passing out 50-50 raffle tickets, and I'm upset because it's now chipping into our chances to win.
Hey, well, you got quite the crowd on hand. You got to pass those out. That shot high into right field. Dowd chasing it down. And was that over the fence? No, dropped at the wall. West chugging into third, and he's in there safely. A leadoff triple by Dean West. Electricity at the top of the order for the Kets.
Coming into this game, Cotuit had 1 triple and 1 home run as a team. Already today, 2 triples and a home run. This Cotuit offense is firing on all cylinders. It seems like we keep having to re-say this, Connor. The Cotuit offense gets better and better every single game, and it's getting to the point where you think, oh, have we seen the peak yet? No, we have not.
Weston Matthews with triples today, and look who's up to bat. It's Luke Matthews. His first hit as a Kettleer. On the first pitch, he saw a triple smashed out to left field. Now he's got Dean West on third after a 3-bagger of his own. Infield pinched in, no one down in the bottom half of the fourth. Big swing and a miss. 4 extra base hits today for the Kettleers, ties their season high. And this, I think, is the best stat today for the Kettleers. Hitting with runners in scoring position has been the real problem this season for this team. They are 4 for 7 with runners in scoring position today.
Well, coming into the game, the team total was they were hitting 111 with runners in scoring position. That was dead last in the Cape League. Only 14 hits and 25 RBIs with runners in scoring position. So the fact that you're 4 for 7 and you're scoring these guys in scoring position, that's exactly what the Kettleers have needed.
2-2 count to Luke Matthews, an opportunity to make it 5 for 8. High foul ball out of play. 2-2 count to Luke Matthews. Carson Marsh, he was very efficient in his first frame. He's been slowed down a little bit by West and Matthews. Luke Matthews 1 for 2 in his Kettleer debut. Barely got that one foul. Matthews transferred over to Kent State by way of Palomar College and had quite the junior season for the Flashes. .354 average, drove in 30 runs. It's what you want out of a guy near the top of the order. Swing and a miss on that pitch, though. Carson Marsh, some nice breaking stuff for his second strikeout.
Well, Marsh has been doing a good job with those off-speed pitches just throughout at-bats. That's what's getting the Kettleers players either looking or swinging. And he's done a solid job of limiting some damage. I mean, outside of Dean West triple, he's retired every batter he's faced.
In steps Ryan Farber. Swung it from the right side twice against Cody New. Now steps in on the left side. And the switch hitter has been batting better as a righty, and we saw it in those first two at-bats. A single and a double drove in runs on each. Now he'll try his hand from the left side with the infield staying pinched in. The Kettleers like to play small ball in situations like this, and Farber is a guy who has bunted a lot this year, so we'll see if they pull that out.
He's bunted a lot, and his speed does allow him to get down to first quickly. So if there's any hesitation on the throw, Farber can take advantage of it.
They haven't been giving him anything to bunt on, though. It's 2-1. Mostly everything has been off the plate. West is the runner at third. One down here in the bottom half of the fourth. 6 runs for Cotuit. That shot out to left field. And what a catch out there made by the left fielder. Now they're going to say he dropped it, or at least Farber says so. That'll score West regardless. 7-0 Cotuit. And I think that's an RBI single for Ryan Farber. 3 for 3 day.
Greg Andriazzi, the third base umpire, had a perfect view of that baseball as it was flying out towards Soldra. And immediately when that ball was near Soldra's glove, and you're thinking, oh, did he catch it or not? Andriazzi just threw his arms in the safe motion, indicating he didn't catch it. So Kettleers continuing to excel with runners in scoring position and just getting base hits.
Ket's 5 for 9 with RISP. Farber's on first for Natilli. Way outside. So what a day Ryan Farber has had. 3 for 3. Has knocked in a run every single time up. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Farber goes. That's knocked high in the air out to right field off the end of Natilli's bat, making the grab and throwing it in, not in time. It's the right fielder, Braden Dowd, 2 down.
Ryan Farber had a bit of a rough time during that last pitch. As the pitch was released by Marsh, Farber stumbled coming out of first base. Then he kind of slowed into a trot thinking that ball went foul. And then when he realized it was in fair territory, he had to scamper back. So Farber just escaped and out 2 times.
Made it close. So here's Caden Boenpole. Hit the second homer of the Kettleers season, dead center. 104 off the bat as that pitch sails to the backstop. Farber into second. But Caden Boenpole has made an impression early on for the Kets. A 4-pitch walk and then a laser to center. He really comes as advertised. Not to mention he was a top 15 name in the D1 Baseball draft prospects list for the 2026 MLB draft. For good reason. Mound visit. Chris Vopanek and the catcher Garrett Wright out there to have a little chat with Carson Marsh.
Well, with that wild pitch, you have first base open, so that's the only bag you can get a force out on for Boenpole. And you're also thinking in the back of your head about that dead center home run that he hit.
You really can't miss anything to him. The pitch that he hit was middle cut, fairly high in the zone, so that's the hot spot for him. Marsh is going to throw a couple pitches. Trainer out there to look at him must have seen something off in his delivery.
Now, the wild pitch that sailed to the backstop was a bit unorthodox. Out of Marsh, who has exhibited some great control in this game.
So they're taking a long look out there at Marsh, and now it's just the umpire, home plate man, J.C. Fernandez, trainer, and the pitching coach, Chris Vopanek, out there. Wright's going to walk back out. Must be something serious. It's a real long visit. As the pitcher, Marsh, is just holding his glove out there. No one's hot over in the bullpen if there is to be necessity for him to leave the game. Action has totally stopped out here on the field at Lowell Park, and Scott Pickler, the manager, wants to find out what's going on. Trainer leaves, and there goes Marsh. So while this gets sorted out, we're going to take a quick break here on Cape League TV. It's a 7-0 ball game. The Cotuit Kettleers lead in the bottom of the fourth.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they are ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
While we wait for the new pitcher, Jack Nobe, I figured we'll keep you guys company until he's back out there on the hill for the Whitey Red Sox. Just a little check-in. It's a 7-0 ball game. Cotuit is up. And hey, that's a season high in runs. We didn't even mention that.
Yeah, season high in runs for the Kets. I mean, the hitting has been there. Their highest hit total on the season has been 13. But now you have 7 runs on 8 hits. That's efficient hitting as well. And that helps when you get some triples and a home run in there as well.
8 hits for Cotuit, 4 for extra bases. We saw Caden Boenpole go 412 dead center on a ball hit over 100 miles an hour. He's really making his mark early here. I think we can both agree that we've been eagerly waiting to see what he could bring to the table for this Kettleers lineup. And since he arrived yesterday, it's clear he was primed to bring a real thump to this order that has been missing.
Well, when we catch wind of players that are coming to Cotuit, especially when it gets closer to the time and they arrive and they get activated to the roster, you know, we do our due diligence, digging all the info out on these players, finding out their numbers, figuring out where they play, and all that fun stuff. And there's players that stick out. Boenpole was one of those. I mean, he just had so much power at Missouri State. He was able to draw a lot of walks. He was able to hit the long ball. I mean, overall, just a very exciting player to watch. So to see him in person, to see the action translate to the Cape, again, instantly, I don't know how many more times he can hammer it home. This is his first game with Cotuit, and he's 1 for 1 with a walk. I mean, that is just the epitome of Caden Boenpole right there.
Walks and homers. That's really his bread and butter, and granted, to say this, you have to bring up some of the negative, but he's a 3 true outcome hitter. Struck out a lot, but obviously the 3 true outcomes, the homer, the strikeout, and the walk. And he had plenty of those. 33 homers between his 2 seasons at Missouri State so far, over 100 walks, but over 130 strikeouts. So it's really a little bit of everything for him. Carries a career slugging percentage of just under 600, and he can swipe bags too. 15 between his 2 seasons at school, and he's 6'6", and he's playing center field. This guy is an anomaly.
Wow. I believe this is the type of player that Dallas Braden would call an athlete. Dallas Braden being the Oakland A's announcer, the Athletics announcer. He
can't call him the Oakland A's anymore.
Oh, geez.
Not even the Sacramento A's.
Nope, just the Athletics. Needed to be PR trained on that still. But I mean, Boenpole, just a phenomenal athlete. I mean, you've touched on it. Just for what he's able to do, being a 6'6" center fielder, it's just phenomenal.
And we resume play with him taking his place in the box. He was in the midst of a 1-0 count facing off against Carson Marsh, but he had to leave the game with a trainer. So hopefully everything is good with Marsh. And Jack Nobe, the right-hander, comes in to spell him. And it is now a 1-1 count to Boenpole.
Nobe on the season. This will be his 3rd appearance. He's only worked an inning and 2/3. Allowed 1 run, struck out 1, walked none. So very limited time.
Xavier Musketeer. Shout out to our director, Sorka Lewis. A fellow Musk. I don't know if that's Muskie, Musketeer, whatever you want to call it. That's strike 2.
Musk is a new one. I don't know if being a musketeer, I'd go around calling myself a musk. I like it, though. I like the thinking.
We're going to stick with Muskie. Upon second thought, here comes the 2-2 inside. Boenpole looking to work his 2nd walk of the day.
Well, we talked about how he loves full counts. Those high walks and those high strikeouts indicate he can go deep in an at-bat.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Awaiting the payoff pitch from Jack Nobe. Freshman, finished his freshman year at Xavier, and he hit the corner. Boenpole down looking, and Nobe gets out of it. 7-0 ball game. Cotuit, they scored one more in this frame. We're on our way to the top of the 5th up next. But not before not before we go to our sideline reporter, Brooke. Sorry about that. Awful toss. Jeez.
Thanks, guys. I'm here outside the Cotuit Kettleers dugout after Caden Boenpole slams a home run, 412 feet. It was 104 exit below, if you can believe it. The second home run of the season for the Cotuit Kettleers. Now, we got to talk to him following that home run, and he gave us one word to describe it: epic. And Dylan Knightley, one of our interns in the dugout, told us he told Caden right before that home run that he had to send it yard. And I guess Caden listened to him because we got that butte to help set up the Cotuit Kettleers in this massive offensive explosion. Back to you guys up in the box.
Top half of the 5th, due up for the YD Red Sox. It's AJ Soldier, Will Gasparino, Will Baker. James Hayes looking to continue a fine outing on the mound. 4 innings complete, 6 strikeouts. Just kind of picking up where he left off from that outing against Brewster, as that's flared out to center. Boenpole tracks it down for out number 1.
Well, we'll keep talking about the athlete that he is. Being 6'6", you can cover a lot of ground out in center field. And that's very similar to the outfield we've seen all season for Cotuit. Every guy that you put in the outfield in a Ket's uniform can cover a lot of ground quickly.
A trend with them. Boenpole in for Wiggins, who we saw for the past couple of games. He covers a lot of ground out there. Dean West out and left. Stevens and right. I could go on. Here's the first pitch to Gasparino. That was AJ Soldra who hit that fly out last at-bat.
Do we still try to keep a nickname, trying to catch on for the outfield?
I think we failed at that, 2 games ago?
I think they deserve a nickname. We'll keep cooking up one.
It's got to come naturally. Swing and miss for Gasparino. James Hayes continuing to get whiffs into the 5th inning. He has been strong out there. Gasparino popped up to second last time. It's a 2-1 count.
It's rare to see Hayes behind an account. He's already up to 35 strikes and only 47 pitches.
Here comes his 2-1. Pick, swing, and a miss. And that slider, I think, that's been the pitch for him today. A lot of these righties just haven't been able to touch it.
There's a fair amount of right-handed hitters in Whitey's lineup. He's able to just get them low and away.
He's got Gasparino 2-2. Here it comes. Shot out to left field. Running in to make the grab is West for out number 2.
Even when Hayes doesn't get the strikeouts, he's able to get that soft contact. Everything really working for the Stetson right-hander.
Looking for another 1-2-3 inning. Now he's got to face off against the lefty Will Baker. Grounded out to second his first time up. Hayes into his motion, works home. First pitch strike. Baker from Georgia Tech. 263 average and a healthy amount of at-bats in his first year.
Have to see if he plays second base at Georgia Tech. Can think of another second baseman coming for Georgia Tech.
Of course, that's Jaron Advincula on his way to be a Yellow Jacket for his junior season. Excited to see how he does next year. As with the rest of the Kettleers, here comes the 2-1. Inside. 3 balls to 1 strike. This is the farthest down Hayes has been in a count all day. Looking to buckle down. The 3-1. Right over the plate. It's full. Hayes 54 pitches through, 4 2/3. Here comes the payoff pitch. Shot foul. That smacked a car. Did not sound good. Can't really tell where it went, but oof, yikes.
Watch your cars.
7-0 ball game here in the bottom of the 5th, or the top half. 3-2 count, 2 down, no one on base for Will Baker. Chopped towards second, gloved, fired in time to first. 5 shutouts so far for James Hayes. Another 1-2-3 inning. Kettleers are up 7-0. Pass things off to Chris Albright for play-by-play for the rest of this one.
Good. Back here, bottom of the 5th. It's a beautiful day at Lowell Park. Sun still up above the tops of the trees. Slight marine clouds blowing in, but it's just another beautiful day for baseball here on Cape. First pitch, strike. Thrown to Camden Johnson. It will be Johnson, Stevens, and Sanderson due up for the Kettleers this inning. The Kets up 7-0 over YD. Chris Albright joined alongside Connor Shue. Couple of defensive changes for YD. Now catching Jake Bold, and Garrett Wright moves from catching out to right field, replacing Dowd. Bold is now hitting from the leadoff spot for the remainder of this one. And out on the bump still for the Red Sox is Jack Nobe, who came into this one in a bit of a rush. You could call it fireman situation, not because of runs, but because Carson Marsh was dealing with some discomfort in his throwing arm. 1-2 on Johnson. Inside. And in fact, it hit him. Brushed back Johnson enough, it plunked him. So now leadoff man aboard for the Kettleers.
And that is 3 out of 5 innings today. The Kettleers have got the leadoff man aboard. So it's been the real, I guess, mark of success today for them. And just getting the train rolling early is what they've done all day. And we'll see if they can put up another crooked number.
Nolan Stevens at the plate has tremendous pull side power. Whitey knows that, so much so 3 infielders to the right of second base when looking at it from behind home plate. The third baseman, Jack Bell, is playing, would call it halfway between second and third. If anything, he's shaded more towards second base. Johnson, who is dancing at first base, has 5 stolen bases on the season. He's been caught stealing 3 times. No stranger to run. 1-0, Johnson goes. Pitches inside, throw down is too high. Stolen base number 6 on the year from Johnson.
It's effortless for him. Just from first to second in almost no time. Throw wasn't nearly in time. Great jump from Johnson.
Shift is still on, though the third baseman Bell playing a lot closer to third base with Johnson at second. Big gap on the left side of the infield. 3-0 the count on Stevens, who is 1 for 2 today. He singled, drove in a run in the first, struck out looking. That was the first batter that Carson Marsh faced. $7-0 the pitch. And it's a 4-pitch walk on Nolan Stevens. We've seen a couple 4-pitch walks issued to Kettleers already today.
Saw the one first time Boenpole came up, and now it's Stevens getting the 4-pitch free pass, and Nobe is scuffling a little bit in his first full frame. Allowed 2 batters to get on without putting any contact on.
A hit by pitch put Johnson on. Now a walk to Stevens. Sanderson is at the dish. Takes a pitch inside. And this is similar to the approach that the Kettleers had early in this game, where it's you just wait for a strike. It was New, the starting pitcher for Whitey, who just couldn't find the zone. And the Kettleers would just sit back and wait. Back pick to second, not in time. Sanderson is 0 for 2 today. The only Kettleer who has not reached base. One-0. Runners won't go. J.C. Fernandez behind the dish will give a new baseball to Jake Bold, who is now doing the catching for YD. Two on, no out. Cotuit has done great with runners in scoring position today. I mean, no need to hit when the strikes aren't being thrown. Another 3-0 count and back-to-back at-bats. Jack Nobe trying to find the zone here. Back-to-back 4-pitch walks. Nobe has thrown 17 pitches, only 5 of them have been strikes. That's now 6 walks issued to Kettleers batters today.
He got Boenpole looking his first batter faced, but after that it's just been tumbling down for Nobe. Just can't seem to get one over the plate.
Bases loaded, none out here. The Kettleers today with runners in scoring position are 5 for 10, a significant clip above what they normally hit with runners in scoring position. First pitch ball to Luke Lavin, who has already been walked a time today. Had a fly out to center field as well. Anything deep in the outfield should score a run. At minimum, now 11 straight balls have been thrown by Nobe. 2-0. And there's that coveted strike that Nobe desperately needed to see. Johnson's on third, Stevens on second, Sanderson on first. None away here. Luke Lavin going headhunting on that 91-mile-per-hour fastball. Lavin hasn't seen a whole lot of at-bats compared to the other catchers on Cotuit's roster, but when he does get them, he takes advantage. His on-base plus slugging, .642. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And they're calling it a foul ball.
Must have just hit the knob of the bat. So close to getting a run in on a hit by pitch, but just barely missed the hands of Lavin.
Whitey skipper Scott Pickler walking out to talk things over with the new catcher Bold. Gave him a couple words of support. Pickler has been around the block. He knows what he's doing. This is his 27th season with YD. He spent 35 years as a head coach at Cypress College. This ball is hit high in the air to shallow right field. Measuring is Baker. He makes the catch. Breaking for home, Johnson. The throw's offline. 8-0 Kettleers.
Scoring on the P4, not something you see super often, but Johnson's got the speed, tagged up at the right time, and the throw is offline, so you'll take that for run number 8.
Stevens and Sanderson stay put. Still 2 on, 1 out, and the lineup card now flipped to Dean West. Can you jot it down as a sacrifice pop-out? Is that a thing?
I guess it's technically that, but that's not a real thing you put in a scorebook. They call it a sac fly to the second baseman. Interesting. I guess he was in the outfield, so.
We've seen it all here. We've seen catchers interference
the other day.
We've seen that here. Count is 2-0 on Dean West, who tripled his last time up. Came around to score off the bat of Ryan Farber. West said in an interview after his first game with Cotuit that he was excited to utilize some other parts of his game here with the Kettleers, which was laying down bunts and stealing bases. He showed bunt early in this at-bat. Both Kettleers base runners with large leads. He rips this one towards right field. Going back right, and he leaps and makes the catch a couple steps from the wall. That saves a run. Tagging from second is Stevens. He's safe at third, but heck of a catch out in right field for the new right fielder, Garrett Wright.
I think it bears mentioning that his natural position is catcher, and he hasn't had that much time in the outfield, so that is one heck of an athletic play to make out there. Out of your normal position, you make an in-game switch, you go out there and you rob at least one run.
No, with 2 outs now, runners will be going on anything. Cotuit with runners at the corners. Luke Matthews is up, who has a triple as well today. The YD pitching staff struggling with finding the strike zone today. Nobe, through 26 pitches, has thrown 10 strikes. Chopper on the ground, left side. On a couple hops, it's fielded and tossed to second. That will end the inning. Cotuit plates another run. The Kets are up 8-0 over the YD Red Sox. We'll take a quick break here on Cape League TV. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball.
Really?
Back here at Lowell Park, it's the top of the 6th. There's a new pitcher on the mound for the Kettleers. It's Bo Sampson. He relieves James Hayes after 5 perfect innings from Hayes. And Connor, we've got a fun guest up here in the booth. PJ Mutzeras, 2-time Cotuit Kettleer. Your season, you're not playing for the Kets right now. We won't have to dive into that, but how's your time been for Cotuit?
It's been awesome. I got a really good host family, Paul and Becky, with Finn and Connor, the 2 interns that are staying with me, and they've made it special up here. Those guys are, they help me so much with what I'm going through right now, because I have a broken handmate, broke it last game I played, so they've been helping me a lot. And, the guys here have been nothing but special. We got a special team and a bunch of hard workers, so I can't ask for better.
I guess that leads me into the next question. Just what's it like being in the Cotuit dugout game to game?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, all the guys are up for every single one of our guys up to plate. We're backing each other up. If somebody doesn't have a good at-bat, tell the next person, hey, pick me up. We'll give the guy what he's throwing, if this guy's got right or sink, or just trying to help the guy who's ever coming up next.
So it'd be Garrett Wright, Jack Bell, and Dean Carpentier due up for the Red Sox. This is all their first look at Bo Sampson, who's a new player for the Kettleers. Count is now 0-2 on Wright. PJ, you've now gotten a couple seasons of summer ball under your belt. Can you just talk about all these guys coming and going? You're flying in from all different places, all different teams. How quickly do you have to build those bonds, and how strong are those bonds come, middle of the season or into the season?
Yeah, you definitely got to build the bonds quick, but I would say just the summer ball vibe, I think relationships come a lot faster than actual college relationships, because I just think a lot of people are coming out here for the same reason, just to play and have fun, and not really like too crazy competition. You're just playing to have fun with these guys, so it's nothing but fun with these guys.
So how quickly does it go from, hey, my name's PJ, to being really close with some of these guys?
I would say it usually takes a couple days, but I would say a week, because we had that Cotuit dance thing that we had on that picnic night, and that builds bonds pretty quick. But I would say about a week.
Now, for those that are watching and have no clue what this Cotuit dance is, in your best words, can you describe this Cotuit dance?
I would basically say it's a TikTok dance for like 2 minutes that you perform in front of your host family. And it's just a good time just for the host family and the guys to get along. It's just a very fun time.
So, I mean, you come out here, you it's not all business out here for summer ball, but you do grow a lot. I mean, you're getting looks at guys from every which conference, and especially in the Cape, it's 100%. Some top competition.
100%.
How's that mindset coming into the summer, just knowing you're facing guys that are going to be in Major League Baseball someday?
You don't want to put too much pressure on yourself. You know, obviously you want to perform as best as you can, but I feel like if you put so much pressure on yourself, you're not going to perform like the way you want to. So the way I go about it is just going out there, having fun, and know you're part of the best. You know, guys on the mound, you know, some of the best arms in the country, and just knowing that you're a part of that atmosphere is that you are one of the best college baseball players in the country. So that's just how I go about it.
And I think we've got to ask, you've had the chance to play with your middle infield partner from Cal previously, Jared Advincula, for the past couple of summers. How cool has it been spending time with him out here on and off the diamond?
Oh, it's special. Jared's such a good kid. You know, he works so hard, and he's even a better person on and off the field. So it's always good to learn from him, and, you know, we learn from each other. We've been hometown kids. We grew up in the same area, but Jared's a special kid, and I got nothing bad to say about him. He's such an amazing person.
Count is 2-2 on Jack Bell. Cotuit pitchers continuing to just find the strike zone. It's Bo Sampson out there, but he's having some pitch comm problems.
Yep, this is about every game.
Yeah, Connor and I, we need to start keeping a running total on these pitch comm problems. And Bell is staying alive, just fouling off some pitches. You're an infielder, so you're kind of, you know, behind the pitcher. You're getting a good view from behind. How can you tell just when a pitcher's dialed, when you're just watching them throw strikes after strikes?
I like when pitchers have very quick tempo to their pitching. They just pick up the ball, get ready for the next pitch. I just think that's when they're dialed in. You know, as a hitter, having a pitcher with a quick tempo is always hard to hit off of because it gives you no breathing room to even think or get ready or just be ready for that pitch. So when guys are having good tempo on the mound, I think that's when they're at their best. And Sampson looks like he's got some good tempo going right now.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Bo Sampson, who is playing in his first game as a Cotuit Kettleer. Both strikeouts swinging, and now he faces Dean Carpentier, the 9-hole hitter. This will only be Carpentier's second time up to bat here, top of the 6th. We'll talk about the Kettleers for a second. It's almost been a tale of 2 seasons, you could say. There's been an offensive resurgence, and it's bled into other parts of the Kettleers team. Just being a part of that team and seeing the growth from game 1 to now, how has it been just seeing the Kets grow?
I would just say is still building relationships too. You know, so we're in our first month. You know, the tighter we are as a team, the better we are going to be performance-wise. So as long as we keep on building relationships, having fun, you know, just still learning from the game because this game's so hard. Just keep on having fun and trusting the guys right after us, after we hit, or the guys on the field. It's just all about trust.
And sticking with the Kettleers and kind of going back to the point of pitchers that Chris made, saw James Hayes go 5 perfect innings. Was he displaying those signs of a guy who's really going to you? I'd assume so.
I mean, yeah, 100%. He was dominant. I got no other word to say about that. It's just dominant. It was really good outing by him, and that's the expectation he has for himself. You know, he's a hard worker as well. Hayes is a great guy. I've been talking to him about it, the way he works, and he's an awesome kid. You know, it's great that he shoved today.
2-2, the count on Dean Carpentier here with 2 away. Sampson has thrown, I will say, more balls than Hayes has, but both of them still exhibiting great control. As a hitter, is it nice when your pitcher's shoving? It kind of frees you up a little more to just swing away, or have a better approach in the box?
Oh, 100%. You know, when you're on defense with a guy like Samson on the mound, it's definitely a lot less to worry about.
Ball is hit to center field. Tracking back Boenpole. He'll have to play it off the wall. Heading to second is Carpentier. It's the first base runner that Cotuit pitchers have allowed all game long. Carpentier stops the slide. Doing some quick math, that is the first, 17 straight retired by the Kettleers before that double.
It was a good swing.
Great piece of hitting from Carpentier. When now the lineup card is flipped to a very dangerous set of Whitey hitters. This will be Jake Bold. He replaced Braden Dowd in the lineup card after a defensive substitution in the previous frame. So this will be his first look at any Cotuit pitcher today. One aboard here with 2 outs. Wind beginning to pick up. Is it any different playing in a stadium with no lights?
Oh, for sure. The ball, I would say once he gets past the 7th inning, the ball is definitely a lot harder to see. Especially, well, today's a good weather day, so it's not as bad. But once you got that fog coming in and it's really cloudy and you got that white ball going 97 across the mound, it's definitely hard to see.
Rolled over left side, and Johnson can't get a glove on it. Back-to-back base runners. Cotuit infield has been solid throughout the season, a lot of moving parts. I mean, we've seen guys playing just about everywhere in the infield, Ryan Farber included.
Yeah.
Johnson's been thrown in the hot corner. I mean, with so many guys coming in and out of the team, as we'll have Tim O'Connor walk out, a meeting on the mound with Bo Sampson. So many guys coming in. Everyone plays their own positions in college. Sometimes that overlaps with positions that are already filled on Cape. Do you really have to be adaptive out here?
I would say yes, and it's always good to be adaptive in your career. You know, scouts look for utility because if you can't play your primary position good enough, or they find a guy who's better at that primary position, where do they put you? So it's all about adaptability. So learning to play different positions is definitely going to help you in the long run in your career.
Switch gears here for a second. It was decision time for you recently. You're on your way to Arizona State for the junior season. Just tell us a little bit about what went into that.
Yeah, so I mean, I chose Arizona State. I thought that would be a great fit for me. It's not too far from home. Great opportunity. I know I got to start a spot at shortstop for them. Obviously, it's not for sure yet. I got to earn it. But I just think the guys that we got at ASU is a top 25 caliber team. We got Cole Carlone, who was here, and then we got Wyatt as well. They were both great guys, and they were telling me about it. And I got a good relationship with the head coach, Willie Bloomquist, and he's a great guy.
Former big leaguer.
Yep. He played a long career. I think it was 13, 14 years. And we were just talking about whatever position you could play, and I think he played every single position in the infield and outfield.
Johnson gets a glove on that chopper. Throw over to first is in time. Kettleers give up the first hit of the ball game, but still no damage on the scoreboard. Kets are up 8-0. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th here on Cape League TV.
Yeah.
Dream it. If you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group. Protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, Dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts. Milton Rents, your local source.
Bottom of 6 here at Lowell Park in this matchup between Cotuit and YD. The Kettleers up 8-0 over the Red Sox. Chris Albright joined alongside Connor Shue and our special guest in the booth, PJ Mutzeras, a Kettleer for 2 seasons. Had some good discussion in the first inning. We'll continue to hit on it some. Your move to Arizona State. Talked about Coach Bloomquist and his adaptability. You said he played just about everywhere. How cool is it to have those coaches that have played the game and done well just to lead you?
You know, that's what I was looking for coming out of the portal, too, is you want a coach that's going to lead you to be a better player on and off the field. And I just thought he would be the best person for me to learn from, because he was a big league shortstop, and what else do you want as a college player trying to get to the big leagues as a big league shortstop teaching you on how to do your position? So I thought that was a good fit.
As we talk about players that can play pretty much anywhere, Ryan Farber's up to bat. He'll be followed by Natilli and Boenpole. I mean, Farber's played, we've seen second, short, third all season, and he's looked good at every position.
He told me he played center field in college, too, for Texas State, too. So he can play everywhere.
You think he'll take Boenpole's spot
I don't know
anytime
about
soon?
that. I don't know about that. They're both very good ball players, but yeah, no, Boenpole's pretty good in center field.
And we haven't really talked about, I guess, the game itself on the hitting side so far, but 8 base hits for the Kets, 8 runs. How cool has it been? Well, we talked about a little bit their run recently, offense just skyrocketing, but it seems like this is the pinnacle, I guess, from the backseat perspective as a hitter. What have you seen in these guys' approaches so far?
I think that we are a lot more disciplined today, you know, not chasing balls out of the zone. We had a lot of 4-pitch walks, like you guys have said, sticking to 1 pitch and 1 pitch only. You know, and if it's not there, take. If it's there, take your A swing on it. Oh, Rentaro's up.
So we've got a pinch hitter here. Rentaro Sasaki is up to bat. He has brought a lot of notoriety and fame to his name. Perhaps the most notable name on Cape this season. You have a lot of good guys who have, you know, played high school ball, but Rentaro, as you know, PJ, the high school home run king in Japan.
Oh, yeah, I've heard, and I've seen it, too. I've seen it. He's definitely got some pop to him, and he's a big boy.
First homer of the summer for the Kets, too.
Yeah.
Now, what's his walk-up song?
It's J-boy. It means Japanese boy. That's what he told me. But his walk-up song is stuck to this team. We play it every time he comes up when we take BP on the field. We always have that song coming up.
And you will sometimes hear y'all down in the dugout just saying out J-boy. Are you ever a part of that?
Oh, 100%. I think the whole dugout is awesome. It's such a good little chatter we have, is believing in Rentaro, you know, the player he is and the name that he's made for himself.
And we know about Rentaro the player, but how's Rentaro the guy?
Oh, he's even better than the Rentaro player. Super awesome. He's such a loving and caring guy. You know, it's still hard for him because he's a foreigner and trying to speak English, so we still just try to be as close as we can with him and just talk him through whatever he needs help with. So he's awesome.
Boenpole has a home run today. We talked about Connor, how he's a three output type of player.
3 true outcome.
3 true outcome with the walk, strikeout, or a home run, and he's checked all 3 boxes here today.
Has he really? Wow.
A walk, a strikeout, and a home run. Count is 1-0 on him. Pops it foul. PJ, you want to take a crack at play-by-play for this at bat? You want to call
Sure.
a Boenpole home run if it happens?
I'll get this at bat. That's fine with me. All right, I'll give it a shot. Never done this before, but we got a 1-1 count. See what he's coming up to plate. Pitcher sets. Ball inside, slider inside. That's a good pitch by him, especially with a guy like Boenpole up to play. You know he's looking fastball. Try to get him to chase a little bit. Wonder what he throws him here. I think he'll go probably off speed on outer half. I would say change up, or maybe he'll go back to that slider in. Oh, fastball. He went fastball. Try to challenge him. 2-2's the count now. Now I think he goes back to off speed. I think he's got to know he's sitting heater here. But obviously I was wrong in the last comp. So as a hitter, you always want to be sitting on fastball though, and just adjust to off speed. Pitch, fastball in. I thought that was there.
Just missed.
Just missed, yeah. 3-2. Far back first. This would be a good time to run as well. But it's 8-0 too, so I don't know.
A little aggressive.
Yeah, maybe. Yep. Ball 4. Guess he did run on a 3-2 pitch, so challenged him with the heater. Ball 4, up and out. Almost swung.
I feel like the base running's been aggressive for the catch this year.
100%. We as a team, we try to get as many advantages as we can, and that's obviously stealing bases as well. That definitely helps on trying to win ball games.
Looks like there will be a pinch runner now. Boenpole will trot back to the dugout. Easton Winfield.
It's a pretty good day. 2 walks and a homer.
Yeah, you would call it a good day at the plate.
I'd call that a good day at the plate.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would be excited about 2 walks and a 3-run bomb.
Oh, for sure.
Quite the debut, too. I mean, his first game on Cape. He came here yesterday. That's another question I have. I guess you got here a little earlier, but how hard is it for a guy to just come straight off the plane and get in here and mash like that?
I mean, it's hard, but if you want to be a big leaguer, you got to be able to adjust to anything. But I wouldn't say it's easy. You know, this game's too hard to do, and especially if you got to play a game that you just flew into the state for. So, you know, he's a good ball player, so great dude, ball player. Wouldn't expect anything else of him. Pitch inside, slider.
Johnson's been on a tear recently as well.
Yes, he's fast. That's I would say is his best tool of his game is his speed. He told me that if he wasn't playing baseball, he'd be a football player, and he ran a 4.340.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's better than most receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, I know. He's super quick.
Would he be a wide receiver?
Yeah, I would assume so.
He's got the build.
Yeah. And he's fast. Maybe a safety. Pitch on the outer half for a strike. 2-1 pitch.
Where do you see him going next?
I think I see him going back to the fastball on that, or maybe a slider in, but fastball I would say. Yeah, fastball up. Now I think maybe he goes slider, back foot, try to get him to chase on here. You got to worry about double play though, because he's fast. So this would be a very big strikeout for the pitcher if he got this one, because Cam's a really good hitter, and you got Nolan Stevens coming up to bat. Ground ball to second base. Gets him out at first. Runners advance. It's a good play. He couldn't have turned 2 on that. Easton came up jumping above the ball as well. That was a good athletic play by him.
Yeah, acrobatic.
What I learned the other day is that if the ball comes in play and hits the runner, it counts as a hit towards the guy who just got a hit. I didn't know that. I thought it counted as an out because the runner got out, but apparently it counts as a hit.
You learn something new every day.
Well, yeah, we learned something new, too, on that catcher's interference call in the game against Brewster on Ragsdale. That was, or well, I don't think it was that. We're going back to the Bourne game when Neal's the catcher for Bourne. I think, what was it? The pitch skipped up and he, like,
Wiggins was up to
held it
bat,
against his
and
chest
it hit the hit the gear of the catcher.
His bat?
Or the ball bounced in Neal's. He protected it against his face mask, and apparently that's supposed to be, that constitutes as a
balk.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
That's right. That's what it was.
Yeah, runners got to advance on that one.
1-1 pitch. Slider in the dirt.
Now you're up here breaking down all these pitches in live time, you know, audibly for all of us to hear. When you're up to bat, is this going through your mind as well?
No, for me, there's different types of hitters that can think in the box, but I don't like thinking in the box. I just like being as loose as I can and thinking, I'm going to barrel this pitch right here. That's all I think about.
See ball, hit ball?
Yeah, basically. But there are, don't get me wrong, there are guys who do think like that in the box. That's just personally not for me. I just think,
Who's
attack one pitch.
I guess out of how much you've learned about these guys in the team, who's the biggest thinker in the box?
I would say Nolan, the guy who's up to base right now.
Good catch there from the catcher Bold. That will retire the side. Kettleers 2 stranded on base. PJ, thank you for joining us. I'll leave you with this question. You're living with a couple of interns, Finn and Connor. Which one's your favorite one?
Oh, man. I've been with Connor for 2 summers, but Finn's awesome. I couldn't say. They're both great. Connor definitely has no filter. Finn's a great guy. Love both of them, but I couldn't say one was better. Love both of them.
PJ Mutzeras, thank you for being up here in the booth. You're media trained, man.
Yeah, I try.
Best of luck in Tempe. Great 2 seasons as a Kettleer.
Yep.
We'll talk with you during this half-inning break. We're heading to the 7th here at Lowell Park. Ket's up 8-0 over YD. Top of 7. It's been a great day of baseball here at Lowell Park. Plenty of fans still hanging around. There's a lot of kids out in the parking lot waiting for a foul ball, and there's been some today. It's 8-0 Cotuit up over YD. We were just joined by PJ Mutzeras, Kettleer for the past 2 seasons up in the booth as he's getting ready to continue on his summer back home. Special thank you to him. Remaining out on the bump for the Kettleers, Bo Sampson. This will be his 2nd inning of work. He came in to replace James Hayes, who spun 5 perfect innings. This ball is tagged high in the air. Won't leave the infield. Farber a couple steps in, 1 away. That was Avery Ortiz, who just popped out. He'll be followed by A.J. Soldra and Will Gasparino. Soldra and Gasparino 0 for 2 today, both of them. Neither of them have struck out. In fact, this middle third of YD's lineup, Soldra, Gasparino, and Baker, the 3 of them combined, no strikeouts to their names. When you have a Kettleers pitching staff who has been so hot today, 8 combined strikeouts between Sampson and Hayes, to put the ball in play against them has been a tall task.
It really has. These guys have just been pounding it the whole way. Like you said, I think if you look at the count, Sampson 26 pitches, 18 strikes, James Hayes, 57 pitches, 41 strikes. Just incredible command from these two so far today. And heck, I'm sure Hayes had some more left in the tank after that, but it's summer ball. You got your innings limits. Guys aren't going to go quite as long as they do in college, but Sampson has picked up right where he left off.
I mean, every Cotuit pitcher, I say every, there's been two. Both Hayes and Sampson have just been pummeling the strike zone. Very few times have Whitey hitters been able to get ahead in a count. Here's the 1-2. Hit up foul and into the Cotuit grandstand. The only blemishes you could say on the scorecard given up by Cotuit pitchers, a 2-out double by Carpentier in the last inning. This ball is hit high in the air towards right field. Stevens is at the wall, out of room, and there's a home run for A.J. Soldra. It is his team leading 4th home run of the season.
And for a guy like Soldra, Chris, it's always a matter of time. He already had 3, like you said, that's his 4th. He has been tearing the cover off the ball with YD, and it's certainly one way to get your first hit of the day.
The first run of the ball game for the Red Sox. They now trail Cotuit 8-1. But Soldra does a big mental boost, you could say, for the Red Sox, saying, hey, these Cotuit pitchers, they're throwing hittable pitches. We've been there. We've been fouling them off. Just haven't gotten that connection. Oh, 1. But outside on Gasparino, who is 0 for 2 today. Tall presence in that batter's box. 6'6". 1-2.
You know, we haven't really touched on it too much after, but I think we're 2 for 2 on guests on the show so far this season.
We've been lucky. 1-2. Count now even. We've had Joe Pratt and PJ Mutzeras, both of whom have done solid. In fact, whatever word is above solid, both have done exceptional. 2-2, 1 away. Just a bit inside.
Exemplary.
Ooh, I like that word. 2 exemplary guests. I feel like I didn't say that correctly. Payoff pitch. It's a foul ball that Gasparino wishes he held the back bat a little bit on.
Almost a cartoonish tap off the handle of Gasparino's bat. Just brought it ever so slightly across and just boop.
Perfect description of it, Connor. 3-2. High and wide. It's a walk for Gasparino. It's his first time reaching base today.
And you can tell the YD lineup has started to pick things up as this game has gone on and starting to eat into the Cotuit pitching staff a little bit, but it's an 8-1 ball game, and Cotuit has really hammered it home on the offensive end, so it would take a lot for YD.
Another Will. This one, Will Baker up. Where there's a will, there's a way. First pitch is a ball to him. That was good, wasn't it? That was good.
Hey, back-to-back Wills.
Will Baker trying to be the second consecutive Will to reach base. Sampson ready. Count now even 1-1. Baker today, a pair of groundouts. Garrett Wright on deck. 1-1. Gasparino goes. There won't be a throw down. A runner in scoring position now for YD. Carpentier in the last inning had a double, able to advance to third base on the E5. That was the furthest he could go. Count is now 3 balls and 1 strike on Will Baker. Swats a high fastball foul. Baker this season, the Yellow Jacket, he's been walked 6 times. He's struck out 9. That's in 50 plate appearances. Payoff pitch on its way. Check swing. Did he go? He didn't. Back to back to back Red Sox who have reached base. Soldra, he had a round tripper, so he didn't need to stay put on the base paths. And this is what we've seen before. Teams able to chip back in at Cotuit's lead that they build up early. The Kettleers, though, have done a good job this game maintaining the pressure. So it's a large uphill battle for the Red Sox right now. Garrett Wright at the plate. 0 for 2, has struck out twice today.
Let's just take a look around the league for a second. I don't think we've done that quite yet. I think Cotuit is looking at Bourne for the majority of this season. 4-5 in the West Division. Bourne losing 3-6 to Falmouth in the top of the 4th. Hyannis at the top of the West Division is up 1-0 on Harwich.
Ball is golfed into shallow left center field. Making the catch is Luke Matthews. He's about 20-30 feet into the outfield grass. Covered a lot of ground at shortstop to make that catch. Now 2 away.
Then we got a couple of scoreless games. Brewster and Orleans in the bottom of the 3rd. And then Wareham and Chatham in the top of 2.
We'll be keeping an eye on that Bourne score. Should the results that are currently present hold, Cotuit and Bourne would both be 4-9-1. Runners go. First pitch swinging and fouled away is Jack Bell at the plate. Bell, the 6', 180 left-handed hitter out of Corpus Christi, Texas. This is just his 5th game played for YD this season. Wind whipping now at Lowell Park. Blowing in some moisture. We saw it on the radar. We saw it in the weather forecast. We were hoping it could hold for as long as it could, and it did. We've had 6 beautiful innings of baseball. This 7th now overcast. Winds wisping. Soft pop-up into the parking lot. A plethora of kids will give chase for that free souvenir.
And, you know, it hasn't started raining, so we can hold on to this as long as we can. That wind is really starting to pick up, though.
The American flag dancing in left center field. Swing and a miss. Bo Sampson ends the inning with a strikeout swinging. Red Sox strand 2 runners on base. They get their first run from A.J. Soldra. We'll head to the 7th inning stretch here at Lowell Park. Cotuit leading 8-1. Just wrapped up stretch time here at Lowell Park. Bottom of the 7th. Kettleers up on the Red Sox 8-1. New pitcher out on the mound for Yarmouth-Dennis is Justin Lee. 6'3", 210, a right-handed hurler out of Los Angeles, California. Just wrapped up playing his season with UCLA. First pitch is taken by Case Sanderson. It will be Sanderson, Lavin, and Dean West. West, another UCLA Bruin, should have a good look at Justin Lee. This will be Lee's first appearance for YD this summer. Just like his Bruin counterpart for Cotuit West, the Bruins taking some time to get out on Cape because of some postseason success, hosting the Los Angeles Regional, advancing to Supers. Some good ball being played out in LA. Count is 1-2 on Sanderson. 0 for 2 today. Does have a walk. Takes outside. Count will even at 2 apiece. Kettleers have scored 8 runs across 4 innings. They scored 2 in the first, 4 in the second, and then 1 apiece in the 4th and the 5th. Some good continual hitting for the Kets. Count has now run full. As for YD, it took until the 7th to get their first run. That was a long ball from Adre Soldra, his 4th of the Cape League season. Payoff pitch. Low and away. First walk issued by Justin Lee. That is the 8th of the day issued by YD pitching. Every pitcher for the Red Sox has thrown at least 1 walk. Check that. Everyone but Carson Marsh, who had a great appearance in relief, did give up a run, but was able to retire the first 3 batters he faced. That was in the 3rd. Got pulled from this game after some arm discomfort. Lavin up to bat now for the Kettleers. 1-0 the count on him. Command has been an item to work on across the board for the Red Sox, you could say. Still struggling to throw strikes. 2-0. Outside again. 3 balls, no strikes on Luke Lavin, who has already been walked once today. His last plate appearance, we were musing about that, a sacrifice fly to the second baseman. 3-0. A 4-pitch walk to Luke Lavin. That's back-to-back walks issued by the new pitcher for YD, Justin Lee.
That's just the Kettleers picking up where they left off. Couple of walks. They've been a lot of free passes today. That's number 8.
Now 9 walks and a couple hit by pitches as well. Double digits in the free passes department. Runners on first and second, none away. Here's Dean West. West, a UCLA Bruin. Lee on the mound, wrapping up his time as a UCLA Bruin. And then the starting pitcher for Cotuit yesterday, Ian May. Guess where he goes or wrapped up his year?
The University of California in Los Angeles, of course. Come on.
Does UCLA have a chant? Don't they go rah, 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 maybe?
I'm an East Coast guy, man. I wish I knew, but previously the Pac-12 was not as much on my radar as I would like to admit. But what are you going to do? I'm I'm Big Ten country.
See, as the resident West Coaster in the booth, I feel like I should know. Never more of a Mountain West and a whack type of guy.
You come out for the mid-majors.
Big mid-major fan.
You know, I am too. I mean, you've got your whack, I've got my Mac.
Well, mid-major baseball has, I would say it's been on the come up, but there's a couple programs that have really stuck around. I mean, Coastal Carolina fighting against LSU for that national championship. Chanticleers.
Chanticleers.
I always want to say the Chants, but it's Chanticleers. The Chants have been around for a while.
South Alabama. Yeah. James Madison's making a name for themselves recently.
How about Murray State?
Murray State, too.
The Racers able to race their way to Omaha.
Yeah, that's right. They had a heck of a run. And you could go on about all the mid-majors that made some noise in the regionals. Wright State over Vanderbilt. That one tugs at the heartstrings for me. I got to say. Big Horizon League guy myself. And we saw Wright State Raider in the draft league versus Cape Cod Baseball League game. Boston Smith, their catcher, 20 home run power. I think he's getting drafted fairly high.
2-2, the count on West. Runners on first and second, none away. Ripped up the middle and into the glove of Lee. Wow. That ball was hot off the bat of West.
Just the reaction time to be able to flip the glove out and snag that one, that was really impressive out of Justin Lee. That's total reaction.
Justin Lee saw some memories from his childhood flash before his eyes after that line drive from Dean West. Ball squirts away from the catcher Bold. Sanderson will take third base. Staying put at first is Lavin. Yeah, that Cape League versus MLB Draft League, call it an all-star game, happened yesterday. Forgot the name. Who am I looking for?
Boston Smith.
Huh? 1 for 3. He scored a run.
Expected.
The Wright State, what are they? Raiders?
Raider gang. Come on.
Raiders, Racers, Roadrunners of UTSA. A lot of cool mascots. UTSA upsetting Texas in Austin. How about that?
That was big.
2-0. Chopped on the ground foul. Luke Matthews has had an impressive first day as a Kettleer. A triple. Came around to score the first pitch he saw as a Kettleer. Does have a pair of strikeouts, looking to avoid that here. Trying to think of some more good mid-major baseball teams.
You said Eastern Carolina or East Carolina.
Ball in the dirt, 3-1. Pirates play good baseball of ECU.
East Tennessee State.
Ooh.
Home of Cody Miller.
Yep.
It's a great program.
3-1. Runner goes. That ball is turned on and cranked foul. Down the left field line and out of play. Full count.
I think you get a lot of these good mid-majors down the East Coast. Because we said Coastal Carolina. Talk about East Carolina down there, and you go a little bit farther west and south, and you find South Alabama, who is really good. Stetson's a nice program in Florida.
Payoff pitch misses low. Base is now juiced for Cotuit.
How about Northeastern?
Ooh.
Charlie Walker.
Northeastern. It's a good small mid-major school that made a name for themselves.
They ran through their conference to get to the regional this year.
Local school as well, playing in the Beanpot Classic. That games were played at Fenway. 10 walks now issued to Cotuit Kettleers batters today. Ryan Farber at the plate. Farber, a 3-hit day. He's 3 for 3. He's also been hit by a pitch. Go ahead and call it, just in case you were wondering. He's a triple and a home run away from the cycle.
I don't know if we're going to turn the lineup card over again, but you never know.
Stranger things have happened. 1-1 the count on Farber. Texas State, where Farber plays. Bobcats have a good baseball program. Get out west. Utah Valley upset Oregon in Eugene.
Deep cut.
There was another. Cal Poly. Cal Poly also upset Oregon.
Oh, you just opened some stuff up in my mind. UC Irvin.
Yep.
I mean, of course, Cal Poly, like you said, and
UC,
San Luis Obispo. Come on. Cal
UC
State
Santa
Fullerton.
Barbara.
Yes, UCSB. Fullerton's pretty good.
Fullerton, 4-time national champions.
They had their time in the sun.
And there was a period where they were winning a championship, it seemed, every decade.
Go back out east for a second. Campbell, the Camels.
Oh, yep. No, nobody's from nowhere, I think they call them.
Shout out to Justin Hare, now the head man at Ohio State.
2-2. Full count on Farber.
Got any more in the tank?
I was going to say, guys can just sit around and name mid-major baseball teams all game long. We're having fun up here. I'm still thinking.
Kent State, home of Luke Matthews.
Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss from Farber. First time retired today. Came with the bases loaded. That was the first strikeout of the day from Justin Lee. And Rentaro Sasaki, who pinch hit for Jack Natilli in the 6th, is back up. I'll give a hometown shout, or at least home college shout. Grand Canyon, another good mid-major. Find themselves dancing down to Tucson every other season or so. Popped up back over the score press box. Sasaki, 2 hits on the season. One has been a home run, one has been a double. Torpedo bat on his back shoulder. 0-1. Inside, and Bold is able to pounce on that quickly. Fans that have stuck around shouting their support for Rentaro Sasaki. A lot of people still out in the outfield on some lawn chairs in front of Cotuit's left field bullpen.
I mean, for this late in an 8-1 ball game, this is a great crowd.
Popped up high, just outside of the infield. Tracking back is Baker, and he'll make the catch. That will end the inning. Cotuit strands the bases loaded. And as we head to the middle of the 6th, we'll kick it to the 3rd member of our team, Brooke Kilgore.
Thanks, guys. When you're watching Luke Lavin behind the plate tonight in his catcher's gear for the Cotuit Kettleers, just know there's a little bit more to his story than it may seem. Lavin is actually half South African from his mother's side, Rochelle, who immigrated over to the United States and met his father here. Lavin is actually trying to file for dual citizenship and someday, he says, play for South Africa and the Olympics for baseball, which is a dream we hope he achieves at some point. So when you're looking at number 17 behind the plate tonight, just know he's playing for something more than himself.
All good. Oh.
Didn't count you down there. Sorry, partner.
Well, I mean, we're talking about these 50-50 raffle tickets. I think we've got to bring that on the air.
Top of the 8th here. New pitcher on the mound for Cotuit. It's an 8-1 ball game. Kets are up. Max Hogg is now out on the mound for the Kettleers. He will be facing Dean Carpentier, Jake Bold, and Cody Miller, barring any pinch hitters. Hogg's first pitch is fouled back to the screen. Hogg has had a good season. Some time spent here on Cape. He's been around the entire summer. This will be his 4th appearance. He's already worked 3 1/3 innings, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. No, I've held off for as long as I can. The 50-50 raffle. I'm not pointing fingers and saying it's rigged, but oh man. You're kidding me. 872 was called 4 times. We couldn't get 850 once?
Well, sometimes that's just how the dice roll, Chris. What can I say?
Jeez. Just unreal. Bouncing ball up the middle. Farber can't get there. It's a leadoff single for Dean Carpentier. We'd like to remind everyone that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited.
A+.
Holy cow.
Also, I think that's a 9th inning thing.
We forgot to run that by you. We bumped it up an inning. For those that couldn't see up into the booth, caught Connor a bit by surprise. He started grasping for the copyright read as I started to read it. I'll probably try and do it again without laughing because it is a serious matter.
Couldn't pull it away from you in time. You were just so excited.
0-2 the count. Jake Bold up, who replaced Braden Dowd in the leadoff spot. No balls, 2 strikes, a runner on first. None away here in the top of the 8th inning. A lengthy pause out on the mound by Max Hogg. And now he's ready. Popped up a mile high. Farber's got a read on it. He's about 10 feet in to shallow right center. And he makes the catch. Try this one more time without laughing. This broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited.
There it is. Good work.
Went 1 for 2 on the day with copyright reads. 1 away, here's Cody Miller. Miller came into this ball game 3rd in the entire Cape for on-base plus slugging. Two 2-0 is the count on him. I'm sure that will change when AJ Soldier reaches the qualified minimum. He hadn't coming into this ball game. I'd venture to say with today's appearance, he will. That ball is grounded into left field. Plenty of free real estate between Matthews and Johnson. 2 aboard now with 1 out. Ortiz is up. 0 for 3 today. Pair of strikeouts. One 0. fanned on and missed. I don't know if these stats are live updated quite yet, but still does not have AJ Soldier as a qualified hitter.
They do get updated in real time, so I think Soldier is still missing the cut line.
One ball, 2 strikes is the count on Avery Ortiz. Max Hogg points towards his pitch comm.
Well, I think if there were no qualifications, Caden Boenpole would be the leader in OPS right now with a, what is that, a 2,750.
Well, it helps when you're slugging 2,000.
AJ Soldier, number 7.
But see, this is all players. I click qualified, and AJ Soldier is not there.
But he is probably the closest to being qualified out of any of those players in that, I guess, unqualified top 10. 12 games played compared to no one else in double digits up there.
He's had 33 at-bats.
He's getting close.
I see a couple. Well, here's one. I see a 31. Hang on now. 1-2. Back pick down to first. Not in time. Sanderson was about a step behind Miller. Miller had a large secondary lead at first base. AJ Soldra's on base plus slugging now sitting at 1,175. He's slugging 758. He gets on base at a 417 clip. Swing and a miss. On a breaking ball low and away. Max Hogg gets his first strikeout of the contest. Now 2 away, and up steps AJ Soldra, who homered in his last plate appearance. Runners on first and second, 2 outs, top of the 8th inning. Kettleers up by 7. It's 7:46 local. First pitch over 2 hours ago. Overcast skies, no more pretty baseball weather. The wind has died down, but it's getting dark here at Lowell Park. We talked to PJ Mutzeras in this game, and as a Kettleer himself, he said when it gets about the 7th inning, that's when you have a hard time spotting the baseball. That ball's laced into center field. Getting the wheel around third is Carpentier. He'll score. Soldra's second RBI of the day. YD gets their second run of the ball game. Miller went first to third. Soldra stopped at first. Runners on the corners here with 2 outs. The lead now 6 for the Kettleers.
YD trying for some late inning magic.
A 2-hit day for Soldra, who's on first. Gasparino up. Gasparino 0 for 2, has a walk. Limited plate appearances for the tall lefty out of LA. Just his 17th of the season here. One and one. 1-2. Max Hogg 1 strike away from retiring the side. YD's already plated 1 run this inning, 2 more on base. Swing and a miss. The catcher, Luke Lavin, shakes the hand of J.C. Fernandez. He walks out, gives Max Hogg a hug, and that's the ball game. Called on account of darkness. The Cotuit Kettleers take down the top team in the Cape, YD. Final score, 8-2. A brilliant day from James Hayes paved the way for the Cotuit Bats to take over.
Honestly, you couldn't ask for much more out of this team. A perfect, quite literally perfect performance from James Hayes to start off this one. 5 innings pitched, not a single base runner allowed, and 7 strikeouts. And the lineup did exactly what they needed to. Ambushed YD in the first few innings, and there was really no coming back from that for the Red Sox. They just buried them.
Well, we can call it perfect because it was. James Hayes, and now we can talk about it. You never talk about it during a game, but James Hayes, through 5 innings, was throwing a perfect game. No walks, no hits, no hit by pitches, no one reached base when James Hayes was pitching.
I think it's safe to say that's the best pitching performance we've seen all summer from any team. You can't get better than that.
A couple teams have taken no-hitters. We'll have to check and see if those were perfect games as well. Final lines today. YD 2 runs on 5 hits, 1 error. The Red Sox, they left 6 on base. The Kettleers, 8 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. And the Kettleers stranded 11 on the base paths. Game finished at 7:49. It was a 2-hour and 46-minute game. The attendance here, well, it's not posted. We'll get that to you if we ever see it. And we'll transition now into the Cotuit Kettleers post-game show. Chris Albright joined alongside Connor Shue. Connor, this was a good win for the Kettleers.
I think this is the best one of the season we've seen. This is the culmination of everything really working for them. We saw new life in the lineup with Luke Matthews and Caden Boenpole, and they made their impacts felt pretty quickly. Luke Matthews, the first pitch he saw, he tripled to the left field wall, and you could tell that kind of started something with the team, really ignited a fire under them. He was fired up, the whole dugout was fired up, and after that, Farber singled him in. Then Boenpole took a walk his first time up, and they got another run with a Nolan Stevens single in the first, and then, whew, that second inning was the real ambush. Luke Lavin walked to start out. Dean West singled, and then you get a little worried. You're like, oh, no, okay, he got picked off at first. You got 2 outs after Luke Matthews struck out, and then he got picked off. And then Ryan Farber comes up. He doubles home a run. Lavin came around to score. Then Jack Natilli worked a walk, and then in steps Caden Boenpole. The second at-bat of his Cotuit career. He came in and smoked one to dead center. 104 miles an hour off the bat, 412 feet into the trees behind the outfield wall at Lowell Park. And that really set the tone for the rest of this game, especially to do that with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. You got to tip your cap to their effort and just the great game the Kets played today.
Like you said, Connor, I wouldn't be ashamed to call it the best game of the season for Cotuit either. I mean, you can always work on stuff, and I'm sure Coach Hibbs and his staff will. But this one was a great win all around. You got on YD early. James Hayes spun a gem. Bullpen for Cotuit through 3 innings, only surrendered 2 runs. Overall, just a well-put-together win. The Kettleers only got 8 hits. If you're going to take anything away from it, it's, late-inning hitting as well. The Kettleers' last hit was in the 4th inning, but were able to work a total of 6 walks in the final 3 innings, so getting on base was solid. Cotuit still able to do that. So overall, just another good day from Kettleers' offense. They're finding their groove. I feel like if we have to give a player of the game, it has to be James Hayes.
It's when you take a perfect game through 5 innings. I think you absolutely deserve it, especially with 6 punch-outs. Guys weren't even touching his pitches. There were a few groundouts and lazy flyouts, but no real hard contact off of his offers, and that slider was playing the best we've seen all summer. He teased at it in that start against Brewster where he struck out 7 over 4 2/3. He did allow a couple of runs and a handful of hits in that one, but it all came together perfectly, and this is a guy who was a former really high-level prospect. He committed to Georgia going into college. Now he's at Stetson, and he was one of their main starters, had a really solid year there, and you can see it based on how he pitched tonight. He is far and away the player of the game in a game where a lot of guys showed out.
Speaking of guys that showed out, how about these new recruits for Cotuit? In terms of total bases today, Boenpole, 4 total bases. Matthews, 3. West, 4. That's 11 total bases from guys that have been in a Cotuit uniform less than 72 hours.
It's something special to see these guys come in and do that. And we already touched on Matthews and Caden Boenpole quite a lot, but Dean West, we talked about him a lot at the top of the show, but the single and then that triple, just the way he flies around the base paths is so fun to watch. He's a guy who really just keeps the pitching staff guessing on the other side and really keeps them worried with his ability to run around the bases. He hasn't had a chance to steal quite yet this year, but again, he showed that speed on that triple, eventually came around to score, and then that left field defense is perfect. We saw Caden Boenpole track down a couple of hard hit balls in center, and then Luke Matthews, he didn't have as much hit to him in the hole at shortstop, but he didn't miss a ball, so that is a 3-for-3 day for Kettleers newcomers.
James Hayes is credited with the win today. And the starting pitcher for YD, Cody New, tagged with the loss. Hayes now 1-1 on the season. New 1-2. Looking ahead for the Kettleers, you have some new life in the past. We'll break this season in 2. In the second half of this season, so the last 7 games, Cotuit has been playing great baseball. This is now their 3rd win in the last 7 games. That works in a tie as well. So Kettleers are hot. Take on Hyannis on the road. That is the top team in the West. But when you look at how the Kettleers did against the top team in the Cape, you're excited for tomorrow.
And they had a win against Brewster, the number 2 team in that division as well. So things just working for them against top competition, just rising to the occasion against some really solid teams. And Hyannis is going to be no different, like you said. They actually lost by a run to YD last time out, so they've hung with top competition, but the Kettleers showed they could just roll over top competition. So I'm really excited to see how that comes out against Hyannis. Peyton Manka on the bump. He's had 2 solid appearances, 1.29 ERA through 7 innings complete. Spun 4 innings of 1-run ball his last time out. So we'll see if he can continue the magic for the Kettleers into that one. And it's really become a story of good starting pitching. And I think the tone was set from James Hayes' second start to now.
Oh, Manka had a solid game. That appearance was against Chatham. Able to go 4 complete, like you mentioned. Had 3 strikeouts as well. A similar performance against Hyannis would do wonders if Cotuit's offense stays as hot as it has been, especially in the first few innings. You can check all those games on Cape League TV or on the Kettleers YouTube and Twitter pages. We'll do one last look around the league for scoring. Bourne trailing Falmouth. Commodores leading 8-4. That game is in the bottom of the 6th. Hyannis above Harwich 1-0. That's in the top of the 6th. Orleans and Brewster top of 5. The Whitecaps up 3-0 over the Firebirds. And the last matchup, Chatham taking on Wareham. The Anglers up 4-0 in that game. It's only in the bottom of the 3rd, so plenty of good baseball being played around the Cape today. As for this one, Cotuit 8, YD 2. Connor Shue, any final thoughts?
It was great to see the offense continue to perform like this, and the newcomers did what the newcomers should. Some new life into the Kettleers system, and let's hope they can continue tomorrow.
Should be a fun one. Cotuit at Hyannis. That game is at 6 o'clock local. You can find Connor Shue, Brooke Kilgore, and I calling that game via the radio on Cape League TV, Twitter, and YouTube. A special thank you to our producers and directors, Sorka Lewis and Riley Lewis. We could not get this done without them. For Connor Shue, Brooke Kilgore, I'm Chris Albright saying good night from Lowell Park.